Live. Yeah. So good evening all. Welcome to Aifer Education. So we are starting our marathon. Okay. We are discussing different topics from our paper 1. Yeah. Are you ready? Give me a response in the chat box. Ready? We are starting our paper 1 marathon. Okay. So we'll see. So today in the upcoming hours we will be discussing different topics from paper 1. Okay, different topics from paper 1. Depending upon the time, we will try to cover maximum topic. Before starting the preparation, the session, how's your preparation going on? Give me a response in the comment box. How is your preparation going on? And out of the paper 1 topics, 10 paper 1 topics: teaching, research, communication, reading comprehension, data, maths, logical, higher education, ICT environment. Which are the topics in which you are? Which are the topics in which I will ask which you are confident, or which are the topics which you are not confident? Please give me a response in the chat box. Okay, so how is your preparation going on? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, ready? Going good? Okay, so today we will try to discuss some of the important topics. We will try to discuss logical listening. We will try to discuss environment. We will discuss higher education, and depending upon the time, we will try to cover a few things from the data interpretation, maths, etc. So, okay, so let's start. Without much introduction, I will start with logical listening. So, out of the 10 topics in paper 1, the topics which are the 3 topics which are tough to most of the students are the reasoning topics, okay, which include reasoning topics play a very crucial role in deciding who qualify JRF or NET. Okay, I will say these are the most important topics based on the toughness. Definitely, we know that we have 10 topics in paper 1. And from all the 10 topics, they will be asking you 5 questions. So based on this, we can't say which is the important topic, because from all the topics, we have 5 questions equally. But the thing is that in a competitive examination, what is very important is that you are able to answer those questions which normally the other candidates find it difficult to answer, which means answering tough questions, answering tough topics, answering a bit complicated questions is very crucial for making sure you get that extra marks that will definitely help you to qualify JRF and NET. So in such a situation, in such a context, logical listening, maths, data, etc. play a very crucial role, because these are the topics: mathematical reasoning, logical listening, and data interpretation. These are the 3 important topics which are the toughest for majority of the aspirants, majority of the candidates who write this exam. Okay, for majority, I'm not saying that these are the toughest topic from all the students, but for majority of the students. So if you, what about you regarding logical listening? Is it easy or a tough topics? Please let me know in the chat box. Okay, is it a easy topic or a tough topic, logical listening? Okay, so what we'll be trying to do is that we'll be trying to cover important aspects related to logical listening. Okay, important aspect related to logical listening we'll be covering. So first of all, I will be covering the syllabus of logical listening. So what are the topics coming under logical listening? Tell me which are the topics coming under logical listening. Okay, or which are the topics that are a bit tough for you when it comes to logical listening? Which are the topics? Give me an answer. Which are the topics tough for you in the logical listening? So first of all, we'll try to discuss the syllabus of the logical listening, and I will give you an idea regarding which are the areas from which they ask the questions normally. Okay, which are the areas from which they ask the questions, okay, normally. So let's try to see the different topics, the different subtopics, different areas coming under logical listening. So this is a first set of topics. Okay, so firstly, when it comes to logical reasoning, the first important thing we have to learn is regarding understanding the structure of arguments. What are the different argument forms? Okay, what are the different types of statements? This is a first and the important topics. We have to study about inductive argument, we have to study about deductive argument, we have to study about analogical argument, hypothetical argument, astronomical argument, physiological argument. So we have to study about different types of arguments or the structure of argument. What is a premise, what is a conclusion, what is an inference. So these are the things that comes under structure of arguments. And then we have two topics which are similar, related, that is point number 2 and 3. So we have to study regarding proposition, and we have to study about categorical proposition, we have to study about the structure of categorical proposition, we have to study about the syllabus classical square of proposition. So proposition, categorical proposition, classical square of proposition is another topic that we have to study in logical reasoning. Then we have to study about mood and figure. So when it comes to mood and figure, I will say I hope you will be knowing what is syllogism is all about. Syllogism is a particular case in which we will be having two premises and one conclusion. You will be clear with certain question like all animals are mammals, all mammals are cats, and some cats are mammals. Okay, so this is what a syllogism is all about. So there are different methods to solve syllogism. What do you mean by solving syllogism? Solving syllogism means finding the appropriate or finding the correct conclusion for the given premises from a set of proposed conclusion that are given. Okay, from a options of conclusion that are given. So that's what you mean by solving syllogism. So there are many methods of solving syllogism. When it comes to our syllabus, okay, solving syllogism, when it comes to our syllabus, there are two methods have been specifically mentioned regarding solving syllogism. There are mood and figure method. After mood and figure method, they have given Venn diagram method. Venn diagram method. So two methods of solving syllogism was explicitly mentioned in the syllabus. So that's all about, we have mood and figure. So mood and figure is a method of, or is a technique of solving syllogism questions. Okay, it's a technique of solving syllogism question. Then we have formal and informal fallacies. So I hope you will be knowing what fallacies is all about. Fallacies is errors in reasoning, or error in reasoning is what we call by fallacies. So we have to study two types of fallacies. We have to study about the Western fallacies. Okay, we also have to study about what we can say beyond Western fallacy. We have to study about the Indian fallacies, which is also known as Hetwa Bhashas. Okay, so we have formal and informal fallacies. Then we have to study about uses of language. We have to study about connotations and denotations of terms. We have to study about intension and extension. What you mean by increasing extension, what you mean by decreasing extension, what you mean by increasing intention, what you mean by decreasing extension. So we have to study about different aspects related to connotation and denotation. Then we have to study about types of reasoning, which I already given you an idea in the beginning. We have to know different details categorizing or distinguishing between deductive and inductive arguments. Okay, what categorizes deductive and inductive argument is another part of our syllabus. Then we have to study about analogies. Okay, analogies or different similarities, that's what we call as analogies. Then we have Venn diagram, which also I already discussed. This is a second method of solving a syllogism. Okay, so Venn diagram is a second method of solving syllogism. Then we have to study another important topic. We have to study a lot of things related with the concept of Indian logic. What do you mean by Indian logic? I will explain, okay, towards the end of this particular logical reasoning. So we have to study about Indian logic. We have to study about different pramanas. We have to study about pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, ubhamana pramana, shabda pramana, ardhapati pramana, and anubhalabdhi pramana. And as a part of this, we have to study different other topics also, like we have to study about structure and kinds of anumana or inference, vyapti, invariable relation, and we also have to study about hetvabhashas. Hetvabhashas are fallacies of inference. Okay, hetvabhashas are fallacies of inference. So these are the different topics coming under logical reasoning. I will just read once again. Just give me an idea regarding which are your toughest topics. Just give me a response. Okay. Understanding the structure of arguments, argument forms, structure of categorical proposition, classical square of opposition, mood and figure, formal and informal fallacies, uses of language, connotation and denotation of terms, evaluating and distinguishing deductive and inductive reasoning, analogies, Venn diagram, which is further explained as simple and multiple use for establishing the validity of arguments, Indian logic, means of knowledge, pramanas, pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, shabda, ardhapati, anubalabdhi. Then we have to study about structure and kinds of anumana, vyapti, hetvabhashas. So these are the different topics coming under logical reasoning syllabus. So give me an idea which is your toughest topics. Okay, which are your toughest topic? Okay, which are your? Give me a response in the chat box. Actually, I have almost all things related to Indian logic. So I would like to take the session based on what you most prefer, or based on what are the important topics from which usually questions are being asked. Okay, questions are being asked. So what are? Yeah, give me a response. Yeah, Indian logic is a tough topic for many. Then yeah, then square of opposition. Okay, the square of opposition is an important a bit of topic. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Considering the or while going through the latest exams, okay, for example, going through the questions of June 2025 exam as well as December 2024 exam, it can be seen that the important topics, okay, it can be seen that the important topics or the questions usually asked from three major areas. Okay, firstly, we have square of opposition. First topic is square of opposition. After square of opposition, we have fallacies. After square of opposition, we have fallacies. After fallacies, we have Indian logic. And then also we have some extra topic, or what we can say miscellaneous topic, which include intension and extension, types of arguments, deductive, inductive, etc. So there are some minor topic also, but I will say considering or going through the latest set of questions, most of the questions are being asked from these three topics: square of opposition, fallacies, and Indian logic. And the priority or the number of questions from this topic vary from exam to exam, or based on a different cycles. In the initial years means just after the syllabus was changed in 2019. Initially, there were a lot of questions from the topic Indian logic. Then later, the more questions are from fallacies. But assessing or analyzing the recent exam, the trend has shifted to a different pattern in which majority of the questions are from the topic square of opposition. Okay, we have majority of the question from the topic square of opposition, then we have fallacies, then we have Indian logic. So today we will try to touch all of these three important topics. Okay, clear? Okay, so most of the question, okay, assessing the recent exams, okay, assessing the recent exam, we can see most of the questions are from the topic, okay, a square of opposition, and then fallacies, Indian logic, etc. So let's move to the first topic. Okay, so we'll move first to the square of opposition. After that, we'll try to cover what's possible regarding the fallacies. Then we'll try to cover Indian logic also. Okay, Indian logic also. Yeah, we have. Yeah, in the meantime, I hope you will be seeing in the comment box and other things. We have a guidance group to get that gives you a regular podcast, free classes, edu reels, mock test, daily poll questions, etc. Okay, we have a podcast also there. You can scan this code or you can contact your number. We also have different courses. Okay, you can join or you can contact our number. All the details are available there in the comment box, also in the description. So let's go to the first topic. So the first topic is categorical proposition and square of opposition. Both are related. So when it comes to categorical proposition or square of opposition, okay, when it comes to categorical propositions or square of opposition, we can see there are what we can say 4 or 5 different areas from which questions are being usually asked. The first set is regarding, the question is being asked regarding categorical proposition, like what is universal affirmative, what is particular affirmative type of questions. We'll discuss each of them. And the second set of question is from the concept distributed and undistributed. The second set of question is from the topic distributed and undistributed. Okay, and the third set of, so after categorical proposition, distributed and undistributed, the third set of question is from the topic, square of opposition itself, the concept of contrary, sub-contrary, contradictory, subaltern, etc. And we have the fourth topic from the concept of, it's an application of square of opposition, the concept of truthfulness and falsity. Truthfulness and falsity. After this, we have the final concept, that is a concept of logical equivalency. Okay, so we have the first one, categorical proposition. Then we have the second one, distributed and undistributed. Then we have the third one, square of opposition. Then we have the fourth one, truthfulness and falsity. Then we have the fifth one, logical equivalency. Okay, we have the fifth one, logical equivalence. So these are the important areas related with this categorical proposition or square of opposition from which we can find a lot of questions. So let's study one by one. Ready? Give me a ready in the chat box. Okay, give me a ready in the chat box, a response in the chat box. Ready to study different aspect related with categorical proposition. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have, firstly, we'll try to understand what is proposition all about. Okay, firstly, we will try to understand what is proposition all about. Okay, firstly, we'll try to understand what is a proposition. Proposition is simply a sentence. Okay, like I say, pens are plastic. This is a proposition. So proposition is just a sentence. So that's what's all about proposition. Clear? Then coming to categorical proposition. Categorical proposition means when the proposition, when a simple proposition like pens are plastic is being categorized into different categories, we call it as categorical proposition. For example, when we classify the preposition pens are plastic to either all pens are plastic or no pens are plastic or some pens are plastic or some pens are not plastic. So any proposition can be classified into 4. Okay, we have any proposition can be classified into 4, which include all pens are plastic, no pens are plastic, some pens are plastic, or some pens are not plastic. So these are the 4 different categories in which we can classify proposition. We can classify proposition. So we'll be having all as we'll be having no as E, we'll be having some as I, we'll be having some not as O. Okay, so we'll be having all as E, no as E, some as I, and some not as O. So these are the 4 types of 4 different categorical proposition. So this is very important. The code, everything is very important. So I hope it's clear. Give me a thumbs up in the chat box, or if you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Yeah, so these are the, we'll be using these letters now onwards. So be sure you are thorough with this, and all will be denoted by the letter A, no will be denoted by the letter E, some will be denoted by the letter I, and some not will be denoted by the letter O. Now we have to discuss regarding the concept of universal, particular, affirmative and negative. So we have the four quadrants. Let's draw the four quadrants. We have all here. As I told, now onwards I will be writing only the code letters. A for all, E for no, I for some, O for some not. A, E, I, O, that English vowels order. So we'll be having E here. We'll be having the sum here, and we'll be having the sum note here. Okay, we'll be having the sum note here. So all and no together will be known as universal. All and no, okay, all and no together is known as universal. Sum and sum note is together known as particular. The reason why it is known as universal, when we say all or when we say no, we try to include or we try to refer about a universal of population or a whole population. For example, when I say all pens are plastic, which means it includes all pens in the universe. So universal. The important thing here is that nobody have any confusion regarding why all becomes universal, but many of the students have a specific confusion how no becomes universal. It's simple. When we say no, for example, when we say no pens are plastic, actually even though we say no pens are plastic, it also means 100% of the pens are not plastic, which means 100% of the pens in the universe is not plastic, or all the pens in the universe is not plastic. So remember, nobody will have any confusion regarding why all is universal. All is universal. Along with that, no is also universal. Okay, no is also universal. And regarding particular, I hope nobody will be having any doubt. Sum is a part of particular. Sum note is a part of particular. Okay, we have sum is a part of particular, and we have sum note as a part of particular. Okay, sum note as a part of particular. Then we have because it's a part. Okay, what is being referred here? The thing that is being referred here is a part. Then we have all and some. They are together known as affirmative. All and some is together known as affirmative. No and sum note is known as. Okay, so we have all and no is together known as affirmative. Sorry, all and sum is together known as affirmative, and no and sum note is known as not particular. Sorry, it's known as negative. It's not particular. It's known as negative. It's known as negative. Okay. So what do you mean by affirmative? Affirmative means here something of a positive conclusion is there. For example, when I say all pens are plastic, so it's an affirmation. Some pens are plastic is also a positive affirmation. We can also say this is a positive. Negative, when I say no pens are plastic or some pens are not plastic, in both the cases it gives a negative outcome. So we have both of these are negative and both of these are positive. So we can very simply we can say all is a universal affirmative statement. Okay, we can simply say all is a universal affirmative statement, and E is a universal negative statement, and sum is a sum is a particular affirmative statement, and sum not is a particular negative statement. So we can say all is a universal affirmative statement. Okay, we have all is a universal affirmative statement, we have no is a universal negative statement, we have sum is a particular affirmative statement, and we have sum not is a particular negative statements. Okay, particular negative statement. So we have, okay, these are the four different options. So this is what you have to study regarding the concept of what is universal, what is particular, what is affirmative, etc. So we'll just discuss a few questions. Okay, try to give me the answer. So this is a question number 1. Some students are sincere is an example of which preposition? Okay, we have some students are sincere is an example of which preposition? Option A, we have universal affirmative. Option B, we have universal negative. Option C, we have particular affirmative, and option D, we have particular negative. Particular negative is also known as particular negation. Okay, yeah, try to give answer. Yeah, some of you are asking some question like why So make sure if you are asking a question, just explain. So what will be the answer? What will be the answer? Yeah, what's the answer? Yeah, many of you have given me the answer. So we have here some students are sincere. So it's a simple one. Some students are sincere. We have it as particular affirmative. So we have question 2 option C as the correct answer. Some students are sincere. The answer is we have option C particular affirmative as the correct answer. Is it clear? Let's move to the next question. Question number 2. All tigers are animal. This is a type of what preposition? Give me the answer. Yeah. What? Yeah, again, it's an easy one. All tigers are animals. A universal affirmative. Okay, universal affirmative. Is it clear? Just give me a response in the chat box. Yeah, we have a lot of correct answers. Yeah, moving to the next question. Not the next question, the next topic. Yeah, the next thing we have to study regarding logical reasoning is the concept of distributed and undistributed. Okay, so the next thing we have to study is regarding distributed and undistributed. So what you mean by distributed and undistributed? Anybody? Anybody? Can you tell me what you mean by distributed and undistributed? Okay, so it's almost similar to the concept of universal and particular. When we say regarding distributed means a distributed is a term of categorical proposition that is used with reference to every member of a class. When we are talking about a particular member from a class, if it refers to all member of a class, we call it as distributed, and if it refers to only a part of the members, we call it as undistributed. Or if a term is not being used to refer to all, it's known as undistributed. Okay, I will give more clarity. Yeah, the question most of the students will be having is then what is the difference between universal and distributed? Yeah, there is specific difference. When it comes to universal, all pens are plastic. I know you'll be saying this is a universal affirmative. So the usage universal affirmative, universal negative, etc. is being used for the whole categorical proposition, for the whole sentence. Okay, we say all pens are plastic. This is a universal affirmative. That's what we say. Okay, so but when it comes to the concept of distributed and undistributed, okay, so when it comes to the concept of distributed and undistributed, we'll be using the different terms. We'll be saying whether the term subject is distributed or not, whether the term predicate is distributed or not. We'll not be saying whether the whole categorical proposition is distributed or not. Okay, regarding the whole categorical proposition, we'll be telling whether it's a universal affirmative or universal negative or particular affirmative or particular negative. When it comes to different terms, okay, in that particular categorical proposition, we'll be saying whether they are distributed or undistributed. Clear? What is the difference? Okay, so then we have the first word is being referred as a subject, and the second part or the last word is being referred as plastic. Okay, plastic. Yeah, so we have subject and predicate. So tell me, what about pens? Is it distributed or not? What about plastic? Is it distributed or not? So being the first one, I will give you an idea. Okay, I will give you an idea. Okay, regarding the subject, we have all pens. When somebody says all pens, it's universal. Okay, or it's distributed. Universal is for the whole sentence. Okay, it's universal affirmative. So from universal positive proposition or from the universal affirmative proposition, with regards to subject, we'll be having the subject, all pens, pens as distributed. Okay, we'll be having all pens, pens as distributed. Okay, pens as distributed. And when it comes to predicate, okay, when it comes to predicate, we'll be having a plastic. What about plastic? Here, the term plastic, which is a predicate, is undistributed. What's the reason? When I say all pens are plastic, even though I refer to all pens in this universe, I don't refer to all plastic in this universe. I refer to only those category of plastic which are pens. Okay, so here, since we don't categorize, or since we don't include whole plastic in the whole universe or whole plastic, we say it as undistributed. So when it comes to universal positive proposition or universal, okay, when it comes to universal positive proposition or universal affirmative proposition, we have the subject as distributed and we have the predicate as undistributed. Okay, so we have the subject is distributed and the predicate is undistributed. Clear? Okay, then let's move to the next one. We have the universal negative proposition. Universal negative proposition, we have no pen is plastic. What will be subject and what will be predicate? Give me an answer. Okay, what will be the subject and what will be the predicate? Give me an answer. Yeah, so out of the four categories of categorical proposition, those are universal affirmative, universal negative, particular affirmative and particular negative. This one is the most confusing one for many of the students. So when it comes to no pen is plastic, firstly let me write the answer. Both are distributed. In terms of universal negative, we have both terms being distributed. Okay, in terms of universal negative proposition, we have both terms are distributed. We have the subject is distributed. We also have the predicate also distributed. Okay, we have the subject is being distributed and we also have the predicate also being distributed. Okay, so we have the subject distributed and we have the predicate distributed. That's what we have regarding universal negative proposition. Okay, universal negative proposition. How? I know it's simple. It's not that much simple. Still, when I say no pen, what I mean is not 100% of the pen in the universe. Okay, not 100% of the pen in the universe. That's the reason why pen is distributed. That's the reason why we have pen is distributed here. So when it comes to plastic, we have, again what I'm saying is that no pen in this world is not any of the plastic in this world. Once again, 100% of the pen in this world is not any type of, or not 100% of the plastic, not any type of plastic in this world. So in this particular case, in case of universal negative proposition, we have both subject as well as predicate is being distributed. Okay, so in case of universal negative proposition, we have both subject and predicate is being distributed. Okay, we have subject is being distributed as well as we have predicate is being distributed. Okay, predicate is being distributed. So this is what we have regarding universal negative proposition or universal affirmative proposition. Moving to the next one, particular positive proposition. What will be the answer? Okay, what will be the answer? Particular positive proposition. Okay, we have the particular positive proposition. We have the statement, some pens are plastic. Okay, what will be the subject and what will be the predicate? Give me. We have particular positive proposition, some pens are plastic. What will be the subject and what will be the predicate? Okay, we'll be having the subject. It's an easy one. Some pens are plastic. Some pens, since not all the pens in the universe, so we have pens is undistributed. Pens is undistributed. Similarly, we have plastic also as undistributed, similar to what is in universal affirmative one. Okay, we have plastic also as undistributed because we are not referring to whole plastic in the world. So we have, in case of particular affirmative, okay, in case of particular affirmative or particular positive proposition, we will be having both subject as well as predicate as undistributed. Okay, we will be having both subject as well as predicate as undistributed. Then moving to a particular negative proposition. What will be? Some pens are not plastic. Give me an answer. Okay. Yeah. Particular negative one. Connect it with particular affirmative as well as universal negative. So what will be? So we'll be having some pens, since only a part of pens is being referred here, we'll be having the subject pens as distributed. Okay, we'll be some pens, we'll be having the pens as undistributed. Okay, we'll be having the subject pens as undistributed and we'll be having the predicate not plastic. Since it's saying not plastic, not any of the plastic, we'll be having the predicate as distributed. Okay, so we have, in case of particular negative proposition, okay, in case of particular negative proposition, we'll be having pens, the subject as undistributed, and we'll be having plastic, the predicate as distributed. So I will be just revising all the yeah, this is it. This is very important. A lot of questions are being asked from this, which we'll be discussing now also. So all pens are plastic, which is universal affirmative, we have discussed. In case of universal affirmative, we have the subject is distributed and predicate is undistributed. In case of universal affirmative, we have the subject is being distributed and the predicate is being undistributed. In case of universal negative, okay, in case of universal negative, we have the subject is being distributed as well as predicate. Okay, in case of universal negative, we have both subject and predicate are distributed. In case of particular affirmative, okay, we have the subject undistributed and both of them are undistributed. In case of particular affirmative, we have both subject as well as predicate as undistributed, and in case of particular negative one, okay, we have the subject is undistributed and the predicate is distributed. Okay, in case of particular negative one, we have subject is undistributed and predicate is distributed. Okay, subject is undistributed and predicate is distributed. Yeah. So yeah, try to answer the question. So we'll be looking certain questions from this topic. So we have the question number 1. In universal negative proposition, how are the terms distributed? Try to answer. In universal negative proposition, how are the terms distributed? Choose the correct option from the following. Option A, we have subject is distributed. predicate is undistributed. Option B, subject is undistributed, predicate is distributed. Option C, both the terms are distributed. And option D, neither the subject is distributed nor the predicate. Which one is the correct answer? Try to reread the question. In universal negative proposition, how are the terms distributed? In universal negative proposition, how are the terms distributed? Yeah, so we have universal negative, we have already discussed. In case of universal negative, we have, if you have a bit confusion regarding what is in universal negative, you forgot, then just think about an example. Universal negative, we have no pens are plastic, so no pen is plastic, so pen is both are distributed. So that's the way how you answer. If you don't recollect, just look for an example. So universal negative will be having both subject as well as predicate as distributed. Here subject is distributed, predicate and this is not the correct one. Here subject is undistributed, predicate, that's also not the correct one. Here it is both the terms are distributed, that's the correct one. So here we will be having option C as the correct answer, because here we have both terms are distributed. Okay, both terms are distributed. Then moving to the next question, which of the following is correct about the sentence some men are not married? Okay, which of the following is correct about the sentence some men are not married? The subject is distributed, the predicate is distributed, both the subject and predicate. What is the answer? Try to answer. Which of the following is correct about the sentence? So we have some men are not married, which is a particular affirmative one. In particular affirmative one, we have both the subject and predicate are undistributed. Okay, in particular affirmative, okay, in particular affirmative we have both, sorry, it's not particular affirmative, it's particular negative, is it? Yeah, it's particular negative, in which we will be having subject as undistributed and predicate as distributed. Okay, subject is undistributed and predicate is distributed. Yeah, subject is not distributed. Yeah, predicate is distributed. Subject and predicate no, neither no. So we'll be having option B. So in case of a particular negative one, we have the subject is undistributed and predicate is distributed. So we have option B as a correct answer here. So let's move to the next. Yeah, before that, you can join our regular material community by using the QR code, or you will get link from the video description of this particular video, as well as you will get the contact details, the book details, the admission, everything from there. So that's all about what I have to discuss regarding the initial aspect, okay, of categorical proposition. As of now, I am not discussing much about a square of a position or all other things, since we have to discuss a lot of things. So next we will be discussing another important topic, that is mood and figure. Okay, so we will be discussing another important topic, that is mood and figure. So initially it's very important you have a clear idea regarding what is mood and figure, or beyond what, why mood and figure, or why is mood and figure is used, or for what purpose. So first of all, I have given you a rough idea while discussing the syllabus. Syllogism means when you have two premise and one conclusion, we say it's a syllogism, especially the normal for what is two premise? All cats are mammals, all mammals are animals. some cats are animals. So we have, what do you mean by syllogism? Okay, when we have syllogism, we have all cats are mammals as premise 1, we have all mammals are animals as premise 2, and we have some cats are animals as conclusion 1 or conclusion clear. So what you mean by solving syllogism? Solving syllogism means they will be giving you a C1, C2, C3, C4, 4 options of conclusion, and the premise will be constant. They will give you 2 premise, and they will ask you which among the following conclusions are correct related with this given premises. So as to check which is the correct conclusion from the premise, as per, we have a lot of methods for that. As per syllabus, we have 2 methods. First one is mood and figure, and the second one is Venn diagram method. So we have the first one. Okay, so we have the first one as mood and figure, and the second one we have Venn diagram method. Okay, so we have the first one as mood and figure, and the second one as Venn diagram method. Clear? So mood and figure is one of the important method used to check the validity of a given syllogism, or used to find which is a correct conclusion of a particular set of premises of or a particular syllogism. Okay, yeah, so we'll move, we'll try to. So first of all, what is a mood? So remember, mood is a different thing and figure is another different thing. It's not a, even though we say it as mood and figure. So what do you mean by mood? Mood means, mood of a categorical syllogism is a series of 3 type of proposition, the major premise, the minor premise, and the conclusion. For example, we have the same example. Let's take all cats are mammals. All mammals are, all cats are mammals. All mammals are animals. Some cats are okay, some cats are animals. So we have all cats are mammals. Okay, so we have all cats are mammals, all mammals are animals, some cats are animals. Okay, so we have all cats are mammals, all mammals are animals, and we have some cats are animals. Okay, we have some cats are animals. So what all, how we denote all, will be having a, how we denote all, again will be having a, how will we denote some, will be writing it as I. So we have all cats are mammals, will be having a, all mammals are animals, will be having a, and some cats are animals, will be having I. So we'll be writing these 3 letters together, and that is known as mood. So the mood of the syllogism given here is all cats are mammals, all mammals are animals, and some cats are animals. So the mood mood here is AI. Okay, so we'll be having the mood here is AI. Okay, we have the mood as AI. So that's it. We have mood is AI. So I hope it's clear what is mood. So what is the mood of this particular one? Try to answer. You have some boys are athletes, all athletes are healthy, and some boys are healthy. What will be the mood of this particular syllogism? Yeah, we have, what is it? Some boys are healthy, we'll be having it as I, since it's some, and all athletes are healthy, we'll be having it as yeah, and some boys are healthy, we'll be having it as I. So we have some boys are athletes at I, and all athletes are healthy as A, and some boys are healthy as I. So we'll be having IAI as the correct answer here. Okay, we'll be having IAI as the correct answer here. Okay, I as the correct answer here. So let's move to the next concept, that is figure. So what is figure? So I hope now it's clear. What is mood is very clear. Is it clear? Just give me the response in the chat box. Yeah. Mood is clear. Now we have figure. So before knowing what is figure, it's important you know regarding what is a major term, what is a minor term, and what is a middle term. Okay. What is a minor term, what is a major term, and what is a middle term. So let's take the same syllogism. We have all cats are mammals. Then we have all mammals are animals. And then we have some we have so we have all cats are so we have all cats are mammals, all mammals are animals, and some animals are cats. All cats are mammals, all mammals are animals, and some animals are cats. We have, so this is premise 1, this is premise 2, and this is conclusion 1. So we have, this is premise 1, this is premise 2, and this is conclusion 1. So we have premise 1, premise 2, and conclusion 1. Conclusion 1. All cats are mammals, all mammals are animals, some animals are cats. Some animals are cats. So major term is a predicate of the conclusion, is a major term. So we have, this is a conclusion, this is a predicate. So this is known as a major term. Since this major term, since it is a major term, it is also known as, since it's a predicate, it's also known as P. So we have the major term. The major term is a predicate of the conclusion cats, which is also denoted by the letter P. And the minor term is subject of the conclusion, subject of the conclusion, which is also related by the letter, since it's a subject, it's noted by the letter S. This is a minor term, animals. And in a syllogism, the very important thing is that there will be a common term in both premise 1 and premise 2. There will be a common term in both premise 1 and premise 2. Here we have the common term as mammals and mammals. So we have a common term as mammals and mammals. So when we have the term which is common in both premises is known as middle term. The term which is common in both premises is known as middle term, which is denoted by the letter M. Which is denoted by the letter M. So I hope it's clear. So we have the premise 1, which is we have the major term, which is the predicate of the conclusion, denoted by the letter P. We have the minor term, which is the subject of the conclusion, denoted by the letter S. And we have the middle term, which is a term which is common in both premise 1 and premise 2, and denoted by the letter M. And denoted by the letter M. So we have what is major term, what is middle term. Is it clear? Give me an indication in the comment box. Now let's try to understand what is figure. So we have, figure is based on the arrangement of the middle term. Very simply, if the middle term is the subject of the premise 1 and predicate of the premise 2, it is figure 1. If the middle term is predicate in both the terms, it's figure 2. And if the middle term is subject in both terms, it's figure 3. And if the middle term is predicate of the first premise and conclusion, subject of the second premise, It is known as figure 4. Bit confused. Anyway, I will give an example. Let's take a similar example. Don't go into the meaning of the sentences. Just for writing as a small, I am taking all cats are rats. All bats then we have or all cats are rats, all cats are bats, then all rats are cats and bats. Okay, so we have all cats are rats, all bats are cats, all rats are cats. I told you, don't think about the meaning. All bats are cats. Then all cats are rats, all cats are bats, all rats are cats, all cats are bats. So you may seem all these are same sentence now. In every case, there is certain difference between subject and predicate. And in all are the same examples. There is only just a change in the arrangement of the middle term. And the middle term here is cats. Okay, this is only premise. So we don't have the major term and minor term. Major term and minor term is depending upon the conclusion. So this is figure 1. Okay, this is figure 1. Which means here the common term or the middle term is the subject of the first one and the predicate of the second one. This is figure 2 because the middle term cats is a predicate of the first one and predicate of the second one. This is figure 3 because the middle term of the cats is a subject of the first one and the subject of the second one. This is figure 4 because the middle term is the predicate of the first term and the subject of the second term. Okay, subject of the second term. I hope this is clear. Is it clear? Clear? Yeah, this is it. You can see. Yeah, how we remember this? It's color board. Okay, you have first like, then you have like, then you have like, then you have like. So you will be remembering this in such a way. Yeah. When the first and the second, we have figure 1, second in both cases figure 2, first in both cases figure 3, and second in first and first in second, we have figure 4. So this is what we have regarding the figure. So let's try to do a question. Give me the mood and figure of the argument. Give me both. I want both the mood and figure. Try to answer mood and figure. Okay, so what's the answer? Give me the answer. What is the, I want both. What is the mode and figure of the argument? Okay, so we have, what is mode? We'll be just writing the first letter. So we have I, A, I. Okay, so we have the first letters. We have I, A, I as the first letters. Then we have the figure is based on the arrangement of the common, which is a common one, athletes. So this is athletes. This is athletes. Okay, so we have this is athletes and that is athletes. So we have IAI4. So we'll be having IAI4 as the correct answer. Okay, we have IAI4 as a correct answer. Okay, IAI4 as a correct answer. So we'll be having option IAI4. Then find the mode and figure. Next question. Find the mode and figure of this particular argument. What is the mode and figure here in this case? What will be the answer? We have the syllogisms. Okay, we have the syllogisms. All plastic are harmful, premise 1. All pens are plastic, premise 2. Then we have all pens are harmful as conclusion. As conclusion. So what is a mode and figure here? What is a mode and figure here? All plastic are harmful, all pens are plastic, all pens are harmful. All plastic are harmful, all pens are plastic, all pens are harmful. Yeah, so we have what is the mode here? All. So we have the mode as AAA. Okay, so we have the mode as AAA. Okay, so we have AAA mode. Then we have the figure plastic. So this is it. So we have this is it, figure 1, A1. So we have AAA1 as a correct answer here. Okay, so I hope the concept, mode and figure is clear over. Yeah, then we'll look 1 or 2 questions. So this is a previous question. Consider the following argument. Okay, this is a previous question. Okay, this is a previous question. We have consider the following argument. Statement: some chairs are curtains. Options: all curtains are bed sheets. And conclusion: some chairs are bed sheet. Okay, so we have statement: some chairs are curtains and all curtains are bed sheets. Conclusion: some chairs are bed sheet. Okay, so what is the mode of the above proposition? Some chairs are curtains, all curtains are bed sheet. Conclusion, some chairs are bed sheet. So we have, it's easy one. Some chairs are I, all curtains A, some chairs are bed sheet I. So we have I as the correct answer. Okay, so we have I as the correct answer. Okay, I as the correct answer. Moving to which one of the following decides the figure of a categorical proposition? Which one of the following decides the figure of a categorical proposition? Which one of the following decides the figure of a categorical proposition? Major term, minor term, and medial term. Which one of the following decides the figure of a categorical proposition? Yeah, so we have figure is based on the medial term. Okay, so we have figure is based on the medial term. Okay, figure is based on the middle term. Which one of the following decides the figure of a categorical proposition? We have middle term as the correct answer. Yeah, so that's all about mood and figure. In the meantime, make sure you have subscribed to Aifer Education YouTube channel. And also we have already discussed, we have the free guidance one. We have started the batch for June 2026 in medium of instruction English. We have the paper one, exclusive paper one batch also. You can join, you have the contact details. Yeah, so that's it. Clear? As of now, we have discussed the basic aspect, the syllabus, categorical propositions, square of opposition basic aspect, and also we have gone to the fallacies. Okay, sorry, mood and figure. Now we are going to the fallacies. Is all the things clear? Is what we have so far discussed clear? Okay, is what we have discussed so far clear? Yeah, moving to the next one, we have the fallacies. Okay, we have the fallacies. Yeah, so what is fallacies? Okay, what is fallacies? Give me an answer. What is fallacies? So we have discussed a lot of fallacies previously in our this same Aifer Education YouTube channel. So here I'm not going to discuss those fallacies. So what are fallacies? Yeah, fallacies are, we can say fallacies are what we often called as errors of reasoning. Okay, fallacies are what we often called as errors of reasoning. Okay, errors of reasoning is what fallacies is all about. Okay, errors of reasoning is what fallacies is all about. Okay, fallacies are errors of reasoning. Okay, errors of reasoning is what we can say fallacies all about. Okay, fallacies all about. So let's try. So there are two types of fallacies. Okay, so the introduction regarding to fallacies. So we have, there are two types of fallacies. We have formal fallacies. We have formal fallacies and informal fallacies. Okay, so we have formal fallacies and informal fallacies. Okay, so we have formal fallacies and informal fallacies. Okay, we have formal fallacies and informal fallacies. So what is formal fallacies? Formal fallacies are those fallacies which is based on the form, structure of the argument, And informal fallacies are those fallacies which are based on the meaning, the relevance, the ambiguity, presumption, etc. So formal fallacies, we have a lot of fallacies like informal fallacies. Some of the common fallacies are, we can say, fallacy of illicit process of major term. Okay, fallacy of illicit process of major term. Then we have a fallacy of illicit process of minor term. Then we have fallacy of four terms. Then we have fallacy of exclusive premises, fallacy of exclusive premises. Then we have existential fallacy. Okay, then we have existential fallacy, and then we have existential fallacy. Then we have fallacy of undistributed middle. Okay, so we have fallacy of illicit process of major term, fallacy of illicit process of minor term, fallacy of four terms, fallacy of exclusive premises, existential fallacy, fallacy of undistributed middle. Then we have a fallacy of affirmative premise from negative conclusion from affirmative premises, fallacy of affirmative conclusion from negative premises. We have the fallacy of affirming the antecedent, denying the antecedent, affirming the consequent, denying the consequent. So we have a lot of formal fallacies. So as of now, we are not going to discuss those in detail. We have discussed many of them in our videos, since we have to discuss logical reasoning, we have to discuss Indian logic, also we have to cover some environment and other topic. We are not going in detail regarding these fallacies. Every fallacies in detail is available as a part of our course. You can join it, you will get the details. Anyway, we'll discuss some of the most important one. So we have next we have the informal fallacies. Informal fallacies is classified into four. So we have a classification in informal fallacies: fallacies of relevance, fallacies of presumption, fallacies of presumption. Then we have fallacies of relevance, fallacies of ambiguity, then we have fallacies of relevance, fallacies of presumption, we have fallacies of ambiguity, then we have fallacies of so we have fallacies of presumption, fallacies of ambiguity, fallacies of relevance, and then we have fallacies of presumption, fallacies of ambiguity, fallacies of relevance. We have fallacies of defective induction. We have fallacies of defective induction. So these are four different categories of informal fallacies. So we'll try to learn some of these categories. Some of the important fallacies in these categories. So firstly, we will be discussing about fallacies of ambiguity. So firstly, we are discussing around 5 fallacies coming under fallacies of ambiguity. So we have fallacies of ambiguity. Okay, a fallacy caused by, as the name indicates, fallacies of ambiguity. Okay, fallacies of ambiguity is a fallacy caused by lack of clarity or by misunderstanding of the words. Okay, so we have fallacies of ambiguity. So fallacies of ambiguity is caused by, okay, fallacy of ambiguity is caused by a lack of clarity or by misunderstanding of the words. Okay, misunderstanding of the words. So we have the 5 different aspects of fallacies of ambiguity. We have accent fallacy, we have equivocation fallacy, we have amphiboly fallacy, we have fallacy of composition, and we have fallacy of division. So what are accent fallacies, what are equivocation fallacy, what are amphiboly fallacy of composition, fallacy of division? So we have accent fallacy, equivocation. It's important. They have asked question regarding, they have given a set of fallacies, and which among the following are fallacy of ambiguity, or which among the following don't belong to fallacy of ambiguity. They have asked question regarding that. So we'll try to learn each of them. So yeah, here is a question. Which of the following is not a fallacy of ambiguity? Yeah, all these questions are previously asked questions. Okay, all these questions are previously asked questions. So here we have, which of the following is not a fallacy of ambiguity? Okay, which of the following is not a fallacy of ambiguity? We have equivocation, we have amphiboly, we have accent, we have accident. Which of the following is not a fallacy of ambiguity? We have equivocation, we have amphiboly, we have accent, we have accident. Which of the following is not a fallacy of ambiguity? Yeah, so we have equivocation is a fallacy of ambiguity, amphiboly is a fallacy, accent is not a fallacy of ambiguity. Okay, so we have accent is not a fallacy of ambiguity. Okay, so we have accent, fallacy of accent is not a fallacy of ambiguity. Okay. Yeah. So we have the first one. Okay, so we have the first one, accent fallacies. Okay, so we have the first one, accent fallacies. Accent fallacies occur when the meaning of a statement changes depending on which word or phrase is emphasized. So as the name indicates, accent fallacy is all about accent. Maybe based on the accent, based on the stress you give to a particular word, the meaning may be felt different. For example, yeah, we have a simple example. I didn't take his book. Okay, so if I am saying it like this, I didn't take his book. I didn't take his book, which means, which also somebody else can interpret, I didn't take his book, but I have taken somebody else's book. Then I didn't take his book. I didn't take his book. Here, they feel like I'm denying it. I didn't take it. Then I didn't take his book. Okay, I say, I didn't take his book. I didn't take his book. So when I give stress to book, the word may be interpreted as, okay, the word may be interpreted as, I took something else of his. Okay, I took something else of his. So we have, I didn't take his book. I took someone else's book. I didn't take his book. I denied taking it. I didn't take his book. I took something else of his. Okay, I didn't take his book. I took something else of his. Okay. So this is what accent fallacy. Accent fallacies means different people will have different interpretation based on the accent, based on the word for which stress is being given. Okay, based on the word for which stress is being given. Okay, stress is being given. Then yeah, what's the answer? There is no need of giving the answer. No, it's a direct question what we have discussed. This is a previous question. Okay, this is a previously. Okay, this is a previously asked question. When a shift of meaning arises, okay, we have when a shift of meaning arises. Okay, when a shift of meaning arises within an argument. Okay, within an argument as a consequence of changes in the emphasis given to its words or parts is said to be the fallacy of. Okay, when a shift of meaning arises within an argument as a consequence of changes in the emphasis given to its words or parts is said to be the fallacy of accent. Okay, we have fallacy of accent. Okay, then we have the next fallacy. Okay, then we have the next fallacy, that is equivocation fallacy. So amphiboly fallacy, first one we have the fallacy of accent based on the accent, different interpretation, or based on the stress given to different parts. When there is a different interpretation, we call it as fallacy of accent. So we have equivocation fallacy. This fallacy, okay, equivocation fallacy occurs. Okay, equivocation fallacy occurs when words are used multiple times with different meanings. Okay, equivocation fallacy. Okay, we have equivocation fallacy. Okay, occurs when words are used multiple times with different meanings. Okay, when words are used multiple times with different meaning. For example, I can say the tree has bark, dogs bark, so dog is a tree. What we can say as a structure of syllogism, it is correct, but the word bark here means a different thing, and the word bark here means a different thing. Okay, so the word bark here and the word bark here means different thing. So we have equivocation fallacy. The tree has barks, dogs bark, so dog is a tree. Okay, so dog is a tree. Then we have feathers are light. What is light cannot be dark, therefore feathers cannot be dark. Okay, so here light means light heavy, here light means light. Okay, so this is another equivocation fallacy. Okay, similarly if we say what we can say, cat is a small animal, tiger is a small cat, sorry, big cat, similar aspect also come here. So when a word with different means is interpreted in different cases, we call it as equivocation fallacy. Okay, equivocation fallacy. Yeah, here identify the fallacy committed in the following argument. This is a question. Identify the fallacy committed in the following argument. An elephant is an animal. Okay, and an elephant is an animal, therefore a small elephant is a small animal. Okay, so we have an elephant is an animal, therefore a small elephant is a small animal. Okay, an elephant is an animal, therefore a small elephant is a small animal. This is a fallacy of equivocation. Okay, elephant, animal, small elephant, small animal. That is what we mean by equity. So moving to the fallacy number 3. Okay, so remember we are discussing informal fallacies, fallacies of ambiguities. So amphiboly fallacy occurs when an argument is based on a statement that is grammatically ambiguous. Okay, when we use a sentence, okay, when we use a sentence that is grammatically ambiguous, okay, when we use a sentence that is grammatically ambiguous, we call it as amphiboly fallacy. Okay, when a sentence is grammatically ambiguous, we call it as amphiboly. Okay, we call it as amphiboly. Okay, we call it as amphiboly. So we have the burglar threatened the student with the knife. Okay, we have the burglar threatened the student with the knife. For example, just try to read it. The burglar threatened the student with the knife. Who have the knife? Just think, who have the knife? Is it the burglar or the student? The burglar threatens the student with the knife, or the burglar threatened the student with the knife. So this is some grammatical confusion is there. Regarding here we have another example, save soap and waste paper. So what it means? They're asking to save soap and waste paper, or they're asking to save soap and waste paper. Yeah, this is what we say, grammatically ambiguous. Okay, structurally the usage seems to be a bit ambiguous. Okay, structurally the usage seems to be a bit ambiguous. So this is what we have regarding amphiboly fallacy. Okay, this is what we have regarding amphibolic fallacy. Next we have fallacy of composition. Okay, next we have fallacy of composition. Okay, next we have fallacy of composition. Okay, fallacy of composition. Fallacy of composition. This fallacy is a result of reasoning from the properties of the parts will be that of the whole itself. For example, fallacy of composition means we believe what is a property of a component will be the property of the whole. For example, suppose tractors are made up of a lot of small parts, and I say those small parts are heavy, and then I conclude a tractor is made up of a lot of heavy I say all those small parts are light, okay, lightweight. So tractor is made up of a lot of lightweight particles, so tractor is lightweight. But I say the human body is made up of a lot of cells, and the cells are not visible to the naked eye, and I conclude the human body, which is made up of a lot of cells, which is not visible by a naked eye, so the human body is not also visible by a naked eye. So what is the property of the component? Okay, here we have what is a property of the component. Okay, what is a property of the component is a property of as a whole. Okay, is a property of as a whole is what we have regarding fallacy of composition. Okay, what we have regarding fallacy of composition. So we have, for example, you can see a lot of example. Each player on the team is a superstar. Okay, each player on the team is a superstar, therefore the team will be unbeatable. Because since each player is superstar, we are concluding the whole team will be unbeatable. Every cell in your body, okay, every cell in your body is invisible to the naked eye. Okay, every cell in your body is invisible to the naked eye. Therefore, you are invisible to the naked eye. Okay, every cell in your body is invisible to the naked eye. Therefore, you are invisible to the naked eye. This building is made up of lightweight bricks. Okay, this building is made up of lightweight bricks. Therefore, the building must be lightweight. Okay, this building is made up of lightweight bricks. Therefore, the building must be lightweight. Okay, the building must be lightweight. So this is what we have regarding the fallacy of composition. Okay, we have regarding fallacy of composition. Then moving to an example, what will be the answer? Identify the fallacy committed in the argument. Okay, identify the fallacy committed in the argument. Since all humans are mortal, the human race must someday come to an end. Since all humans are mortal, the human race must someday come to an end. Since all humans are mortal, the human race must someday come to an end. So we have humans are mortal, human race. So we have fallacy of composition. Every one of us is mortal. Therefore, these two are different questions asked in different exams. Okay, we have every one of us is mortal. Okay, every one of us is mortal. Therefore, it is obvious that someday the human race will disappear from the earth. Identify the logical fallacy committed in the above statement. Every one of us is mortal. Okay, every one of us is mortal. Therefore, it's obvious that someday the human race will disappear from earth. Identify the logical fallacy committed in the above statement. Every one of us is mortal. Again, it's a fallacy of composition. Moving to the last fallacy in fallacy of ambiguity. Okay, we have the last fallacy in fallacy of ambiguity. We have fallacy of division. Okay, we have fallacy of division. Okay, we have fallacy of division. So fallacy of division, this fallacy is a reverse of composition. Okay, this fallacy is a reverse of composition. just opposite of what's fallacy of composition? In fallacy of composition, what is the property of the component will be the property of the whole. Here it will be revised. What is the property of the whole will be the property of the component. So this is an example. There are a lot of examples here. The university is 100 years old. Therefore, every process there must be 100 years old. Definitely, it's a wrong argument, but this is what we call as fallacy of division. The football team is best in the college. Therefore, every player must be best in the league. The company is wealthy. Therefore, every employee must be wealthy. Okay, the company is wealthy. Therefore, every employee must be wealthy. This is what we have regarding fallacy of division. Okay, we have fallacy of division. So we have university is 100 years old. Therefore, every professor here must be 100 years old. Football team is best in the league. Every player must be in the best league. Company is wealthy. Therefore, every employee must be wealthy. Okay, every employee must be wealthy. Yeah. So we have an example. Soft drink sector has shown good growth in profit. Okay, we have soft drink sector has shown good growth in profit over past few years. Therefore, we can conclude that each individual soft drink company is making good profits. Above argument is an example of which of the following fallacies? Okay, we have soft drink sector has shown good growth. Okay, we have soft drink sector has shown good growth in profit over past few years. Therefore, we can conclude that each individual soft drinks company is making good profit. Yeah, again we have soft drink market and soft drink. It's fallacy of division. Okay, it's fallacy of division. So these are some of the examples of what we can say fallacy of division. So for the time being, we'll be winding up the fallacies. Is it okay? Let's go to some Indian logic. Okay. Yeah, we can go to some Indian logic. So again, if you are not still a part of Aifer paper 1 community, if a community can join by using the code, or you can also send free guidance by contacting or WhatsApping to the number 8714301888. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. So let's continue with Indian logic. Are you ready? Any doubts in what we have discussed so far? So we are going to the last part. Any doubts? Okay, so we have Indian logic. Okay, ready? Let's start with Indian logic. So, what do you mean by Indian logic, or what do you mean by pramanas? What is pramanas? Anybody? Yeah, so we can say, so we have a lot of ways of acquiring knowledge. For example, for UGC NET exam, you can acquire knowledge from Google, you can acquire knowledge from ChatGPT, you can acquire knowledge from what we can say, you can acquire knowledge from Aifer Education YouTube channel, some other YouTube channel, etc. So there are different ways of acquiring knowledge. So similarly, pramanas are the ways of acquiring knowledge. Okay, pramanas are the different ways of acquiring knowledge. Okay, pramanas are the different ways of acquiring knowledge. Okay, pramanas are the different ways of acquiring knowledge. Okay, acquiring knowledge. So we have pramanas or Indian logic. Okay, so we have pramanas or Indian logic. So pramanas are the different ways of acquiring knowledge as per the Indian system or Indian logic. So basically there are 6, once again, YouTube, ChatGPT, Gemini, all are pramanas. Not as per Indian logic, just to have a clear idea. Aifer education is a pramana, so, which means ways of acquiring knowledge. So we have Indian logic, we have 6 pramanas. We have Pratyaksha, we have Anumana, we have Ubhamana, we have Shabda, we have Ardhapati, and we have Anupalabdhi. So these are the 6 pramanas, or these are the 6 ways of acquiring knowledge as per Indian logic. Okay, so these are the 6 ways of acquiring knowledge as per Indian logic. What are the 6 ways of? So we have Pratyaksha, okay, we have Pratyaksha or perception, we have Anumana or inference, we have Ubhamana or comparison, we have Shabda or verbal testimony, we have Ardhapati or implication, or we have Anupalabdhi or non-apprehension. Okay, Anupalabdhi or non-apprehension. Okay, Anupalabdhi or non-apprehension. So these are the 6 pramanas. Okay, so we have, these are the 6 pramanas. So let's try to understand each of them. Okay, so I told you pramanas are ways of acquiring knowledge. So we have the first pramana. First pramana is the Pratyaksha pramana. Okay, so we have the first pramana. First pramana is the Pratyaksha pramana. Pratyaksha pramana means the knowledge we acquire through perception. Okay, the knowledge we acquire through perception, or the knowledge we acquire through our sensory organ. So Pratyaksha pramana is the knowledge we acquire through perception, or it is a knowledge we acquire through our sensory organs. So there are a lot of classification of Pratyaksha pramana. So here I will be discussing 2 classification. So the first classification is we have Anubhava or Smriti, or direct perception or indirect perception. Okay, so as of now I will be discussing 2 different classification of Pratyaksha pramana. Okay, I will be discussing 2 different classification of Pratyaksha pramana, which is we have direct perception or Anubhava, or indirect perception or Smriti. Okay, we have direct perception or Anubhava, indirect perception or Smriti. Okay, indirect perception or Smriti. And then we have Savikalpaga or Nirvikalpaga, which is also determinate or indeterminate. So we have Savikalpaga or Nirvikalpaga, which is also known as determinate or indeterminate. Okay, determinate or indeterminate. So we have 2 types of Pratyaksha pramana, Anubhava and Smriti, Savikalpaga or Nirvikalpaga. Okay, so then we have the what is direct or indirect, or what is Anubhava and Smriti. Direct perception is a perception that's happening through the sensory organs directly. You are hearing my sound directly. You are seeing me even though through video directly. Okay, through the online mode directly. So this is direct perception. This is direct perception. So this is a perception, or this is a knowledge we are receiving directly through our sensory organs. So this is also known as Anubhava. We are experiencing it. Then when it comes to indirect perception of Smriti, here the knowledge is acquired previously through the direct perception, but now it's from our memory. For example, if my video is not working now, if I off my video and if I continue talking, you will have a clear idea. So Aifer education, Anees Poovathi is taking class, some teacher from Aifer education is taking class. I know that teacher because before today or before offing the video, you have seen me, you know my voice. So you are taking from your memory, this is a voice of X. So this is what we have, indirect perception or Smriti. So we have the direct perception or Anubhava, where we are getting the knowledge directly through our sensory organs, and next we have the indirect perception or Smriti, where we have already got the knowledge before through the direct perception. Now we will be revisiting the knowledge from our memory. So this is the first classification, direct perception or indirect perception, or Anubhava or Smriti. Then we have the second classification. Okay, Then we have the second classification. Okay, we have the second classification. We have determinate or indeterminate. Okay, so we have the second classification. So we have the second classification, determinate or indeterminate. Okay, we have the second classification, determinate or indeterminate. Okay, determinate or indeterminate. So we have determinate is savikalpaga and indeterminate is nirvikalpaga. Okay, so we have determinate is savikalpaga, indeterminate is nirvikalpaga. Okay, what is savikalpaga or determinate? Savikalpaga or determinate is when I say something that the relationship between the, what we can say, the object and what is associated with is what we can say subject and object is immediately established. For example, if I say this pen, the word pen and what I mean by that pen, that relationship is immediately established. That is savikalpaga. But if I say something like you, that pen which was in my hand before 30 minutes, before half an hour, maybe you may not be connecting it immediately. You will have to think, yeah, that was a pen, that black color. So the relationship between the word or the subject and the object is not immediately established. That is indeterminate or nirvikalpaga. So when the relationship between the subject and the object is immediately established, it's determinate or savikalpaga. And when the relationship between the subject and object is not immediately established, we call it as nirvikalpaga or indeterminate. Clear? So this is what we have to say regarding the pratyaksha pramana. Okay, so this is the pratyaksha pramana. Then moving to the second one, we have the anumana pramana. Okay, the pratyaksha pramana is also known as perception and anumana pramana is also known as assumption. Okay, assumption. Here, when it comes to, we know in pratyaksha pramana, the knowledge is being acquired through the sensory organs. So when it comes to anumana pramana, the knowledge is acquired through what we can say is assumption. Okay, the knowledge is assumption. Okay, the knowledge is assumption in case of anumana pramana, which means it's through the knowledge we have gained before. For example, if somebody is crying, we can say that, yeah, he may be having some physical pain or emotional pain. Or the most classic example of anumana is you're walking and you saw a hill and smoke is coming out of the hill and you conclude there is fire in the hill. Okay, you conclude that there is fire in the hill. So this is what we have regarding anumana. So anumana is, we have, okay, anumana is all about, we have what we can say, anumana is assumption. Okay, we have anumana is assumption. Next we have ubhamana. Okay, next we have ubhamana pramana. Okay, next we have ubhamana pramana. Okay, next we have ubhamana pramana. Yeah, ubhamana pramana means will be ubhamana. We'll be comparing with something else. Okay, we'll be comparing with something else. For example, we know a four-legged animal that barks is a dog. And if we see a similar animal while our tour to Africa, we may say African dog. So this is what we have comparison. We'll be comparing an existing knowledge we have with the new thing and we'll be trying to conclude where that thing is all about. That is what we have regarding ubhamana. Okay, that's what we have regarding ubhamana. Yeah, then we have ardhapati pramana. Okay, then we have ardhapati pramana. Ardhapati pramana is also known as implication. Okay, ardhapati pramana is also known as implication. Here the knowledge acquires, okay, here the knowledge acquires through the relation or our implication or through our supposition or belief. For example, if a healthy person says that he does not sleep at night, we conclude that he sleeps during the day. If a fatty person is saying that I don't eat anything during the day, we assume that he eats during the night. So that's our assumption, presumption, belief. Okay, so this is what we have ardhapati. So ardhapati or implication is the knowledge we acquire through our presumption, okay, or supposition or belief. Then we have the fifth one, we have the anupalabdhi pramana. Okay, the fifth one, we have the anupalabdhi pramana. Okay, anupalabdhi pramana is what we can say is all about non-apprehension. Okay, Anupalabdhi Pramana is all about non-apprehension. Non-apprehension means what we can perceive is not existing. What we can apprehend is not existing. For example, if there is no student in a particular class, we conclude that there is no student in the class. Maybe it's Sunday. If you spend a day with your friend and he doesn't use his mobile phone, you can't see his mobile phone, you conclude my friend is not using a mobile phone. So what cannot be apprehended is not existent. That's what we mean by Ardhavdi. Anyway, we'll be discussing some question that time, it will be more clear. Okay, we'll be discussing some question that time, it will be more clear. Okay, don't worry. Then we have we'll be also revising after discussing all the 6. Then we have the 6th Pramana. Okay, then we have the 6th Pramana, we have the Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana is also known as word or verbal statement. Okay, Shabda Pramana is also known as word or verbal statement. Here, the knowledge is acquired through words. It may be through written words like book, or it may be through speaking. Okay, through speaking, or okay, so orally or verbal. Okay, written. So Pratyaksha Pramana is a knowledge that is acquired through oral or through verbal ways. Okay, verbal ways. Yeah, so we have, firstly we'll be revising once again, and after we'll try to do some questions. Okay, we'll try to do some questions. So what is Pratyaksha Pramana? Okay, so what is Pratyaksha Pramana? Okay, what is Pratyaksha Pramana? So we have Pratyaksha Pramana. Okay, so we have Pratyaksha Pramana is a knowledge. Okay, Pratyaksha Pramana is a knowledge that is acquired through perception. Okay, it's a knowledge. Okay, we can say it's a knowledge that is acquired through perception. Okay, Pratyaksha Pramana is a knowledge which is acquired through perception. Then we have there are 2 classifications of Pratyaksha Pramana. Okay, we have 2 classifications of Pratyaksha Pramana, which are direct and indirect, which is Anubhava and Smriti. And the next one we have Savikalpaga, Nirvikalpaga, which is determinate and indeterminate. Okay, which is determinate and indeterminate. So we have Pratyaksha Pramana. Okay, classification. In case of direct and indirect, direct means directly through the sense organ, indirect means through the memory, and Savikalpaga or determinate means the relationship between the subject and object is immediately established. Nivikalpaga or indeterminate, that is not established. Anumana through the assumption, through the knowledge. Okay, Ubhamana, it's knowledge acquired through comparison. We'll be comparing something with something different. Ardhapati Pramana, it's a implication. Okay, it's an implication. Okay, it's something based on our presupposition, belief, etc. Then we have the Anupalabdhi Pramana, apprehension and non-apprehension. It is a knowledge acquired through something that is not apprehended is not the. Shabda Pramana through the verbal. So this is 6 Pramanas. So we'll try to do some questions. So what is the answer? Try to give me the answer. What is the answer? Okay, so what's the answer? So we have the question is, a university student is never seen to be writing or reading during the daytime, but she always submits her assignments on time. Therefore, one can conclude that she must be studying and writing during the night time. According to Mimamsa School of Classical Indian Philosophy, just making it a bit complicated, which instrument of knowledge pramana is used in? So we have here Ardhapati. Okay, so we have Ardhapati as the correct answer here. Okay, we have Ardhapati or implication as the correct answer here. Moving to the second question. Yeah. Next question. According to the classical Indian school of logic, okay, according to the classical Indian school of logic, which of the following instruments of knowledge is defined as the knowledge of the relation between a word and its denotation and is produced by the knowledge, resemblance or similarity? Okay, so we have, according to the classical Indian school of logic, which of the following instruments of knowledge is defined as the knowledge of the relation between a word and its denotation and is produced by the knowledge of the resemblance or similarity? Which one? Yes, so we have, the question is regarding word and its denotation, knowledge, resemblance or similarity. So what's the answer? So knowledge, resemblance or similarity, we have it as, okay, Ubhamana or comparison. Okay, we have it as, okay, Ubhamana or comparison. Okay, Ubhamana or comparison. Next, moving to, these are some of the things we are going to study. That's why I'm skipping those questions. Which means of knowledge, okay, which means of knowledge pramana, okay, which means of knowledge pramana involves deriving knowledge from linguistic utterance of reliable person? Okay, which means of knowledge, pramana involves deriving knowledge from linguistic utterance of reliable persons? Is it Anumana pramana? Is it Adhapati pramana? Is it Pratyaksha pramana? Or is it Shabda pramana? Okay, which means of knowledge involves deriving knowledge from linguistic utterance of reliable. So we have it's utterances. Okay, it's something being spoke. It's Shabda pramana. Okay, Shabda pramana. Then is there any question? Yeah. Next question. Consider the example provided. This Gavaya is like my cow. This is an example of which means of knowledge of pramana. Okay, this Gavaya is like my cow. This is an example of which means of knowledge. Okay, this is an example of which means of knowledge of pramana. Is it a comparison, or is it implication, or is it perception, or is it inference? Which one? This Gava is like my cow is an example of like my cow. Okay, we have like my cow. So this is an example of comparison. Okay, this is an example of comparison. Okay, comparison or upamana. Then yeah, we'll be discussing one more small topic in the logic, that is anumana, and after that we'll be winding up logical listening. Yeah, let me. Yeah, we have based on the syllabus. So out of the 6 pramanas, as per syllabus, okay, as per syllabus, we have to study in detail about anumana. Okay, we have to study in detail about anumana. So firstly, we have structure of anumana. So we have anumana, Anumana is something what we can say after knowledge. Okay, the word Anumana is a combination of Anu, which means after, and it is all about after knowledge. Okay, it's all about after knowledge. So it's example, you're walking and you find smoke from the hill, and what we can see, based on that you conclude that there is fire in the hill. Okay, there is fire in the hill. Then we have, okay, there are three terms involved in Hanumana. So we have Sadhya or major term, we have Hetu or middle term, we have Paksha or minor term. So these are the three terms involved in Hanumana. Okay, there are three terms involved in Hanumana. They are Sadhya or major term, Hetu or middle term, Paksha or minor term. Okay, Paksha or minor term. So what is Sadhya or major term? Okay, so Sadhya or major terms, take the example, we have a hill and we saw smoke coming out of the hill and we conclude there is fire. So we have the fire, we have the smoke, we have the hill. So Sadhya or major term is the character which is inferred. Sadhya or major term is the inferred character. So what we are inferring the fire. Okay, so we have Sadhya or major term. Okay, we have Sadhya or major term is the inferred character. What we have inferred here? We had inferred here fire. Then Hetu or middle term, the reason behind inference. Okay, so we have Hetu or middle term. Hetu or middle term is reason behind inference. So what is the reason behind inference? What is the reason behind inference? What is the reason behind we concluding there is fire in the hill? Because smoke. Because of smoke. We have seen that. Then Paksha or minor term is the place where we have inferred Sadhya. It's the place of inference. Here is reason of inference. This is place of inference, we have it as hill. Okay, we have it as hill. So when it comes to Sadhya or major term, we have fire as the inferred character. When it comes to Hetu or middle term, we have smoke as the reason behind inferring fire. And when it comes to Paksha or the minor term, we have hill or the place of inference. So this is what we have: Sadhya, Hetu, Paksha. Yeah, then another important one, as per Nyaya theory. Okay, as per Nyaya theory, there are 5 pillars or 5 members of Anumana. There are 5 pillars or 5 members of Anumana. 5, it's also known as Avayavas of Anumana. So there are Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. So these are the 5 Avayavas of Anumana. Okay, so these are the 5 Avayavas of Anumana. So what are the 5 Avayavas of Anumana? Okay, the 5 Avayavas of Anumana are we have Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya and Nigamana. Okay, the 5 Avayavas of Anumana are, okay, we have Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya and Nigamana. Okay, Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. Okay, Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. This order is also very important. Okay, this order is also very important. Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. Proposition, reason, example, application, deduction. Okay, proposition, reason, example, application, deduction is what we have regarding the Avayava. So remember the order: Pradigna, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. So let's try to understand what is Pradigna, what is Upanaya, what is Udaharana, etc. Yeah, we have. What is this? Yeah, so what is Pradigna? So we have the same example. We have the hill, we have the smoke, and we have the fire. Okay, so the hill has fire. This is the Pradigna. It's just in a hypothesis. We are proposing that the hill has fire. That is what we call by Pradigna. Then we have Hetu is a reason because it has smoke. And Udaharana, there is smoke and there is fire. Why am I saying? Because I have an example of the fire, example of a smoke in my kitchen where I know there is fire. So why, when we infer fire based on the smoke, the reason is we have a lot of examples where we have seen fire associated with smoke. Clear? That is Udaharana. then Ubhanaya is the most important one, which means that inference, that presence of fire and smoke should be universal. For example, I say I have a car or I have a bike, bullet. Okay, it pushes out a lot of smoke. Or my friend Shebin has a bike which pushes out a lot of smoke. So I'm saying hill smoke is coming there. So I'm concluding that yeah, there is my friend. My friend's bullet is there. It may be correct in 0.1% or in a rare case, but it's not correct always. So that's what is Ubhanaya. So Ubhanaya means, I will just example once again. Ubhanaya means there should be the relationship, the smoke fire kind of relationship be invariably associated. Okay, invariably associated universal concomitance between major, which is a major term, fire, and middle, that is smoke. So what does Ubhanaya says? Ubhanaya says there should be an invariably associated universal. Okay, there should be an invariably associated universal concomitance between the major and middle term. Okay, there should be an invariably associated universal concomitance between major and middle term. Okay, this is what is types of Ubhanaya is all about. Okay, this is what is Ubhanaya is all about. Invariably associated universal concomitance. Clear? So here the important thing is that what is invariably? Invariably means without any variation. Associated should be always present. Universal, throughout the universal concomitants together. So that is fire and smoke. So my friend or that particular vehicle and smoke is not invariably associated universal concomitant. It's a rare example. So they have asked a lot of questions regarding this. Then the final one we have Nigamana. So Nigamana is a final conclusion. As we write for an exam, hence it is proved that therefore the hill has fire. So once again I will be revising. So we have the hill has fire, which is pratigna. Okay, the hill has fire, which is pratigna because it has smoke. Okay, the hill has fire is pratigna because it has smoke is hetu. Therefore the hill has fire. Okay, therefore the hill has fire is nigamana. The order. The first one is pratigna, the hill has fire, and the second one is hetu, the reason because it has smoke, and the third one is whatever has smoke has fire. It's an example. And the fourth one, Ubhanaya, is relationship of invariably associated universal concomitants between the major and the middle term. And finally, we have the Nigamana, therefore, the hill has fire. Is it clear? That's it. That's the basic aspect of Anumana. Let's go for a few questions. Yeah. Universe. Knowledge. Yeah, what is it? The term Paksha, according to classical Indian school of logic, refers to which of the following terms in the process of inference? The term Paksha, according to classical Indian school of logic, refers to which of the following? Yeah, we have major term is, we know major term is sadhya and minor term is paksha and middle term is hetu. So here we have option C, minor term is the paksha. Minor term is a paksha. Then according to, so the next question, according to classical Indian school of logic, what is the correct sequence of steps involved in Anumana? Okay, so we have according to classical Indian school of logic, what is a correct sequence of steps involved in Anumana? Okay, according to classical Indian school of logic, what is a correct sequence of steps involved in Anumana? What is option A, option B, option C? Give me the answer. What is the answer? Yeah, what is the correct sequence of steps involved in Anumana? So we have Pradigna, Hedu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. So we have option D, Pradigna, Hedu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana. That's a correct sequence of steps involved in Anumana. Then moving to the next one. Inference in Anumana. Okay, inference or Anumana in Indian logic is rooted in what? So that's the question. Inference or Anumana in Indian logic is rooted in what? Is it variable relationship between minor term and major term? Is it the invariable relation between middle term and minor term? Is it the variable concomitance between middle term and major term? Or it is the invariable concomitance between middle term and major term? So inference in Indian logic is rooted in what? Variable relation between minor term and major term, invariable between middle term and minor term, variable between middle term and major term, invariable concomitance between middle term and major term. What is this? Yeah, so we have invariable relationship between the or invariable concomitance between the middle term. Okay, what is the middle term? In case of the example of smoke, we have the middle term is smoke and the major term is fire. Okay, so we have the invariable concomitance between the middle term and major term is what inference Anumana in Indian logic is rooted. Then Devdatta is fat and he does not eat during the day. Okay, this is a question. Devdatta is fat and he does not eat during the day. Therefore, Devdatta is eating during the night. The above example is a case of what? Okay, the above example is a case of what? So we have Devdatta is fat. Okay, Devdatta is fat and he does not eat during the day. Therefore, Devdatta is eating during the night. The above example in classical Indian school is a case of what? So we have Devdatta eating night. During example, we have it as Adhapati. The important thing is that we should be clear regarding the English term. The English term of Adhapati is implication. Okay, the English term of Adhapati is implication. Moving to the next question. Devdatta, the same example. Then we have, consider the example of Anumana. The mountain is fiery because it has smoke. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. Which one of the following expresses Vyapti? The relation of invariable concomitance between mountain and fire, the relation of invariable concomitance between mountain and smoke, the relation of invariable, what will be the answer? Give me the answer. Okay, what will be the answer? Yeah, so we have option A, the relation of invariable concomitance between mountain and fire, the relation of invariable concomitance between mountain and smoke, the relation of invariable concomitance between fire and smoke, the relation of, so we have, it's a fire and smoke. So what is the relationship? The relation of invariable concomitance between fire and smoke. Okay, the relation of invariable concomitance between, so we have option C. Then is there any option, any question? Yeah, the distinction between, okay, the distinction between savikalpaga, determinate, and nirvikalpaga, indeterminate, is made with respect to which of the following pramanas? Okay, the distinction between savikalpaga, determinate, and nirvikalpaga, indeterminate, is made with respect to which of the following pramanas? Give me the answer. This distinction is made with reference to which of the following? We have Anumana, we have Pratyaksha, we have Upamana. Yeah, so we have Savikalpaga and Nirvikalpaga are two classifications of Pratyaksha Pramana. So we have option B, Pratyaksha Pramana. Then. Yeah, so that's all about what we have to discuss regarding the logical reasoning, the Indian logic, the basic aspect. Okay, so we have, I hope all of you have subscribed to Aifer Education YouTube channel. We have a lot of topics already discussed in our channel, and we are providing regular sessions, free sessions, materials, etc. through our community groups and also through our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to all of those. And is a part of those. Then we have started our quiz for the June batch also. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, is it clear? Is there any doubt? So next we'll be starting the next topic. Okay, let's start environment. Is there any doubt in what we have discussed so far? Do let me know. Yeah, let's look environment. Okay, the next. Yeah, environment is comparatively an easier topic, but the thing is that there are in-depth topics are there are a lot of topics are there. Okay, recently there has been a lot of questions being asked from this topic. Okay, so let's try to learn. So any doubts in what we have discussed so far in logical reasoning? Okay, next we have people, development and environment. Okay, we'll be going to a factual. Okay, so as to get free study material, okay, you have the Aifer Education link in the YouTube description as well as in the YouTube comment section from official Aifer Education channel. And also if you'd like to join our June batch, you can contact using the number in the YouTube description. And if source to get materials regarding all this, you can join our community. We have a lot of exams, free exams, mock tests, etc. also. All for those, you can join our community and other things. All the details are available in the description. Okay, all the details are available in the description. Okay, so we have people, development and environment. Ready? Give me a thumbs up, a response in the chat box. we have people, development and environment. Another important topic. In terms of mark, both logical reasoning and people development and environment are equal in from both topics. Okay, from both topics you have 10 questions each. Sorry, 5 questions each, 10 marks each. Small confusion. So we have people development and environment. First of all, this is a very big topic. Okay, this is a very big topic. So I'm not going to discuss all the things, but instead I will try to give you an idea regarding what are the syllabus. I will give an in detail aspect regarding what are the things you have to study from the different aspect related with the syllabus, and what are the areas from which questions are usually being asked. Okay. Yeah. Okay, what are the areas from which questions are being usually asked? Yeah, so we have people development and environment. Okay, we have people development and environment. So the first topic is development and environment, and the two subtopic coming under development and environment is millennium and development, sustainable development goals. So you have to study about different MDG and SDG. Okay, you have to study about MDG and SDG. I hope you will be knowing what MDG, Millennium Development Goals, and Sustainable Development Goals are. Those are a set of goals that has to be fulfilled by all UN members, and the MDG was supposed to be fulfilled from the year 2000 to 2015, and SDG is from the year 2015 to or 2016 to 2030. As a part of MDG, we have around 8 goals, and as a part of SDG, we have around 17 goals. Okay. As a part of MDG, we have around 8 goals, and as a part of SDG, we have around 17 goals. Okay, we have around 17 goals. So this is what we have regarding MDG and SDG. Normally, the questions is being asked is regarding the number and the order. There is a specific order for goal number 1, goal number 2, goal number 3, etc. Okay, there is a specific order. Okay, there is a specific order. Yeah, then we have, for example, they will ask which is among the following SDG. They ask SDG 6, SDG 8, SDG 10, SDG 12, and XYZ. MDG 1, MDG 4, MDG 5, and the increasing chronological order of MDG, SDG, or the order. So these are the normal type of questions that are being asked from this topic, that is the MDG and SDG concept. Okay, we have MDG and SDG concept. Okay, MDG and SDG concept. Next, we have human and environmental interaction, anthropogenic activities and their impacts on environment. So all these are what we can say anthropogenic activities and their impacts on environment. Okay, all these are anthropogenic activities. Okay, all these are anthropogenic activities and their impacts on the environment. So firstly, we have to study about different environmental issues. They ask question regarding what are the local environmental issues like pollution or like wastewater disposal, like what are the regional environmental issues, what are the global environmental issues like global warming, ozone hole depletion. Okay, so this is a question. What are different environmental issues? Okay, what are different environmental issues? We have to study those environmental issues which are, we can say, those environmental issues which are concentrated on a local area, is local issues, and those environmental issues which are concentrated on a regional and global. And the most important aspect, a lot of questions is being asked from the pollution topic. You have to study about the air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution, different types of waste. Okay, different types of waste, climate change. Okay, so as a part of pollution, you have to study a lot. When it comes to air pollution, you have to study about pollutants, classification of pollutants. There are a lot of classification of pollutants based on size, based on source, based on component, based on organicity. There are a lot of classification of air pollution. So we have to study about the classification of air pollutants. You have to study about different government initiatives to reduce the harmful impact of air pollution. You have to study about different methods of reducing air pollution. So a lot of things has to be studied regarding air pollution. Then you have to study about Water pollution. Okay, water pollution. When it comes to water pollution, we have to study about water pollution, the hydrological cycle, the different trophic levels, the lake layer, limnetic, benthic, okay, littoral type of the layers you have to study. What are different waterborne diseases you have to study. Then water waste related aspect, you have to study about dissolved oxygen demand, biochemical oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, and we have to study about pH. A lot of things has to be studied under water pollution. Then when it comes to soil pollution, we have to study about different types of soil. Okay, different types of soil we have to study. There was a question previously asked which type of soil is best for earthworm activity, and they have also a question regarding different alluvial oil. I hope you would have studied in geography alluvial oil, soil, black soil, red soil, which are the areas. Okay, which are the areas where we can find these soils. Okay, that's also another question. Okay, that's also another question. Then we have the noise pollution. Okay, the question has been asked regarding the noise pollution. What are the permissible level of noise, etc. Okay, then we have waste, different types of waste. Then you have to study about climate change and socio-economic impact. So basically climate change, you have to study about the greenhouse effect, you have to study about the global warming, you have to study about ozone hole depletion. So all these things have to be studied. So this is the first part of the environment syllabus. Then we have one more parts also. This is the final part, only 2 parts. Okay, don't worry. Then you have to study about the natural energy resources, solar, wind, soil, hydro, geothermal, biomass, nuclear, forest. You have to study about the solar energy, solar cell, International Solar Alliance. A lot of questions from this topic. A lot of questions are being asked from solar energy, solar cell, solar technology, etc. Then they have also asked much question from the topic nuclear. What is nuclear reactor, the control rod, the moderator, different nuclear fuels, what is fissile material, the enrichment of uranium, so and so. A lot of questions. Okay, a lot of questions are being asked from nuclear. Okay, nuclear energy also. Okay, nuclear energy also. Then you have to study about natural hazards and disasters mitigation strategies. Okay, you have to study about natural hazards and disasters mitigation strategies. We'll be studying that. Natural hazards and disasters means what are the different types of natural hazards. We have the primary hazards, we have the chronic hazards, we have the natural hazards, then we have the geological hazards, we have the hydrological hazards, we have the meteorological hazards. Okay, we have a lot of hazards, secondary hazards, primary hazards. So you have to study that. Then the final topic, the final topic coming under environment, you have to study regarding what we can say Environmental Protection Act 1986. Okay, you have to study about Environmental Protection Act 1986. Then you have to study about National Action Plan on Climate Change. Then we have to study about different international agreements or efforts. Okay, so we have Environmental Protection Act 1986, National Action Plan on Climate Change, international agreements or efforts, Montreal Protocol, Rio Summit, Convention on Biodiversity, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, International Solar Alliance. Okay, International Solar Alliance. So we have this solar Environmental Protection Act, National Action Plan on Climate Change, International Agreement, Montreal Protocol, Rio Summit, Convention on Biodiversity, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, and International Solar Alliance. So we have to study about, then beyond that you have to study about different conventions also. We have the Bonn Convention, we have the Washington Convention, okay, we have the Bonn Convention, we have the Washington Convention, and there are a lot of convention about which we have to study. Then, so this is what we have to study regarding different act. Okay, this is what we have to study regarding environment. So we'll study one by one. Yeah. Firstly, one of the most important one. Okay, the climate change, the greenhouse, and the global warming concept. I hope it's a topic we have discussed many before. So first of all, you have the concept of greenhouse effect or glasshouse effect. Glasshouse effect is a house which is made up of glass, which allows the sunrays to enter into that, and there will be an increase in the temperature, and it does not allow the rays to go out. The reason is being, the glass allows short wavelength rays to come inside, but when ejected it will be long wavelength which it will not allow. So that's a basic sense behind that. So simply glass house is a place where it allows sunrise to enter and which it doesn't allow sunlight to go out, which means as a result of that there will be a increase of temperature inside. There will be an increase of temperature inside. There will be an increase of temperature inside. This is what we have regarding this one. Then we have another regarding what is greenhouse effect. Then this is what is solar radiation. So solar radiation will be having different components: gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, visible, infrared, microwave, radio waves. So a lot of question has been asked regarding what is the increasing order of the wavelength of different components of solar radiation. So this is a increasing order of wavelength of different components. This is a increasing order of wavelength of different components. So we have the gamma rays, we have the X-rays, we have the ultraviolet, we have the visible rays, infrared rays, microwave rays and radio waves. Then we have glasshouse effect. Similarly, greenhouse effect is a increase of temperature in the earth atmosphere due to not glass, due to gas. So in glasshouse effect we have temperature being increased inside due to glass. But when it comes to greenhouse effect, we'll be having gases around earth. So these gases allow sunrise to enter and does not allow it to go out. As a result, there will be increase in the temperature in the atmosphere or the earth's surface. This is known as greenhouse effect. This is known as greenhouse effect. And those gases, which trap the sunlight inside are known as greenhouse gases. Those gases which trap the sunlight inside is known as what we can say greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases. So this is what we have greenhouse effect. So what is global warming? Global warming is an outcome of greenhouse effect. When the gas, actually by nature greenhouse effect is not a harmful thing. The main reason why life is possible in Earth is due to greenhouse effect. Why Mercury, many other planet, there is very, very low temperature, very cold, there is no greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect is an important evolutionary method or find out by the Earth so as to ensure there will be a moderate temperature which will be allow organisms including humans to thrive. So greenhouse effect is a good one, but when the greenhouse gas amount increases beyond an extent, when the greenhouse gas amount increases beyond an extent, we call it as global warming. When the greenhouse amount increases beyond an extent, we call it as global warming. Or when there is an unprecedented increase in the temperature in the Earth's surface. When there is a unprecedented increase in the temperature in the Earth's surface, we call it as global warming. We call it as global warming. That's what we have regarding global warming. Then moving to the next. Then moving to the global warming potential. Global warming potential. So we discussed what is greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect is there is a set of gases known as greenhouse gases that will trap the sunlight in the Earth's surface that will increase. So this trapping capacity, this trapping or the heat absorption capacity of gases vary from A gas to B gas. So this is being measured using the potential of global warming potential. So global warming potential is a potential of each greenhouse gas to absorb sunlight and to increase the Earth's atmosphere. So the tool is simple. The greenhouse gas absorption of 1 liter of carbon dioxide is taken as 1. And we compare with carbon dioxide the other one. We can't say 2 units of heat. Instead, we'll be taking the value of carbon dioxide as 1. We'll be taking the value of carbon dioxide as 1. Value of carbon dioxide as 1. And after that, we'll be having CH4, N2O, Okay, value of carbon dioxide is 1, then value of methane is 21, value of N2O is 300, value of fluorinated gases is this one. Okay, so this is what we have to study regarding, okay, global warming potential. Okay, so global warming potential is a potential of each gas to absorb the temperature. Yeah, that's what we have regarding global warming. Next, we have the ozone hole depletion. What is ozone hole depletion? Ozone hole depletion is, we have the Earth's surface, which is, we have troposphere. They have asked question regarding that. We have the Earth, just above we have the troposphere, then we have the stratosphere, okay, then we have the mesosphere, then we have the thermosphere, exosphere, etc. So they have asked question regarding which is outermost layer. Okay, which is outer layer. Out of the given, we have thermosphere, and then we have the stratosphere. So the sunrise or the sunlight coming from the sun, we have some harmful rays like ultraviolet rays. In the stratosphere, we have a layer of ozone. Okay, there is a layer of ozone gases in the stratosphere which prevent these harmful rays like ultraviolet rays to enter Earth, which create a safety for the humanity. So ozone layer is the layer of ozone gas present in stratosphere. Question has been asked. Ozone layer is present in stratosphere. So what is ozone hole? Ozone hole is not a hole literally. Instead, the thickness of this ozone layer or the thickness of ozone gas. So we'll be having ozone gas here. Suppose this is a thickness. The thickness of ozone gas, okay, or the thickness of ozone layer, which is composed of ozone gases, is measured in a unit known as Dobson. Okay, Dobson. Okay, the thickness of ozone layer. Okay, the thickness of ozone layer is being measured in a unit known as Dobson. Okay, in a unit, okay, known as Dobson. And when the thickness is less than 200 Dobson unit, okay, when the thickness is less than 200 Dobson unit, it is known as ozone hole. When the thickness is less than 200 Dobson unit, it is known as ozone hole. Okay, so what is ozone hole? When the thickness is less than 200 Dobson unit. Yeah, then moving to the next aspect, that is pollution. Okay, we'll try to study one important aspect. Do you have any doubts regarding global warming, environment syllabus and other things? Let me know. Any doubts? No doubts. Okay, so let's try to discuss another important aspect, pollution. Okay, we have pollution. Yeah, so we have to study in detail about air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution. Okay, we have to study in detail about air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution and noise pollution. Okay, noise pollution. So we'll be discussing about air pollution. So I hope you know what pollution is all about, what air pollution is all about. Okay, so what we have to study is regarding different sources of pollution. So pollutants are the sources that create pollution. Okay, pollutants are the source of air pollution. So basically the overall air pollution, we can say there are two types of sources for air pollution. Okay, there are two types of sources for air pollution. We have the natural sources. Okay, we have the natural sources and we have the anthropogenic sources. Okay, we have the natural sources and the anthropogenic sources. Okay, we have the natural sources and anthropogenic sources. What is natural sources? Those sources which are from the nature, which includes volcanoes, earthquakes, forest fires, landslide, and anthropogenic sources are, okay, anthropogenic sources are those sources, okay, those sources which what we can say, which is made up of humans. Industrial sites, urban setups, mining areas, agricultural areas, construction sites, etc. So now we have to classify about different sources. So I will give a detailed description about natural sources. In volcanic eruption, we have SO2, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter are the pollutants. In forest fires, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons are the pollutants. They may ask, then we'll be having the natural sources like pollen grains, soil dust, sea salt spray. When it comes to anthropogenic or human-made sources, we have industries. Important pollutants from industries are SO2, nitrous oxides, particulates, heavy metals like lead. Lead is a very important harmful pollutant source. Automobiles, from which we have nitrous oxides, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, lead, especially from the leaded petrol. Then we have thermal power plants, from which we have fly ash and SO2. We have agriculture, okay, we have agriculture, ammonia, then we have methane from livestock, then we have domestic fuel burning like smoke, carbon monoxide, etc. Okay, domestic fuel burning, we have smoke, carbon monoxide, etc. So we have all these different sources of air pollution. Now we have the classification of air pollutants. So we have a lot of classification of air pollutants. Okay, so we have a lot of classification of air pollutants. So we have the first classification of air pollutants is based on the origin. Okay, so we have the first classification of air pollutant. Okay, first classification of air pollutant is based on the origin. So based on the origin, we have two categories of air pollutants. Okay, based on the origin, we have two categories of air pollutants. They are primary pollutants and secondary pollutants. Okay, so based on the origin, we have two categories of air pollutants, which are primary pollutants and the secondary pollutants. Okay, primary pollutants and secondary pollutants. So primary pollutants, okay, are the pollutants which are emitted directly into the air from the source itself. Okay, primary pollutants, we have primary pollutants. Primary pollutants are, okay, primary pollutants are the pollutants which are emitted directly into the air from the source itself. Okay, they are emitted directly into the air from the source itself, because for example, particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen, so they are the direct release. This is primary, and the secondary is this primary pollutants. Okay, these secondary pollutants are the pollutants which are created by the reaction between the primary pollutants. So primary pollutants released as it is, and some of these primary pollutants react with each other and form new pollutants. Those pollutants are known as secondary pollutants. Okay, those pollutants are known as secondary pollutants. Example are ozone, pan. So pan means we have peroxyacetyl nitrite. Okay, so we have pan. Pan means peroxyacetyl nitrite. So this is a first important aspect. Then we have the second classification. Okay, next we have the second classification of this one based on the states of matter. Okay, next we have the second classification. We have gases pollutants and particulate pollutants. Okay, so based on the states of matter, we have gases pollutants and particulate pollutants. Okay, we have gases pollutants and particulate pollutants as based on states of matter. Okay, so gases pollutants are those pollutants in the form of gas, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, volatile organic compounds, etc. And we have particulate pollutants are particulate matter. It's not gases, it may be small. Particulate pollutants may be small, solid or liquid droplets. Okay, particulate pollutants may be small, solid or liquid droplets. Okay, small, solid or liquid droplets is what we have regarding particulate pollutants. Okay, particulate pollutants. Then we have a different example for different particulate pollutants are soot and smoke, fly ash, dust, fumes, lead fumes, etc. Okay, these are some example of particulate pollutants. Okay, some example of particulate pollutants. Then we have another classification of pollutants. Okay, then we have another classification of pollutant. This classification, okay, this classification of pollutants, okay, this classification is of pollutants is based on the size. Okay, this is a classification of pollutants based on the size. Pollutants can be grouped by particle diameter, which influences so and so. So we have heavy particulate matter. Okay, heavy particulate matter when the size range is more than 10 micron. Then we have a PM 2.5 less than or equal to 2.5 micron. Respirable particle less than 4 micron or equal to this one, and ultra fine less than 0.1 micrometer or micron. So this is based on the size. They have asked regarding this one. Yeah, this is an example. They have asked as it is. What is coarse particle or coarse particle? What is respirable particle? What is fine particle? And what is ultra fine particles? Okay, coarse particles, respirable particles, fine particles, and ultra fine particles. Okay, ultra fine particles. Then we have the next classification of air pollutants. I think this is the last one. Okay, next classification of air pollutants based on the chemical composition. Okay, we have the next classification based on the chemical composition. So chemical composition, we have organic pollutants and inorganic pollutants. Okay, chemical composition, we have organic pollutants and inorganic pollutants. Organic pollutants are those pollutants which contain carbon containing compounds. Okay, organic pollutants are those pollutants which contain carbon containing compounds, and inorganic pollutants are those which doesn't contain carbon. Okay, then yeah, so this is it. So this is what you have to study regarding air pollution. Is it clear? Any doubt? No, I have discussed only the basic aspect. Especially I have discussed regarding what we can say the classification of air pollutants. Next, what we have to study is about different government initiatives. Okay, some of the government initiatives to prevent air pollution or to reduce, okay, some of the government initiatives to prevent air pollution or to reduce what we can say harmful impact of air pollution. So firstly we have NAMP. Okay, firstly we have NAMP, which is also known as National Air Quality Monitoring Program. Okay, which is also known as National Air Quality Monitoring Program. Okay, which is also known as National Air Quality Monitoring Program. Okay, NAMP is a program initiated by Central Pollution Control Board to monitor the air quality across India, and the Central Pollution Control Board was established in 1974. Okay, so we have Central Pollution Control Board was established in 1974. The National Air Quality Monitoring Program was established, okay, in 1984, and it is also known as previously National Ambient Air Quality Monitoring Network. That's what we have, National Air Quality Monitoring Program. Okay, National Air Quality Monitoring Program. Objective is to determine the status and trends of ambient air quality, understanding air pollution levels and trends, identifying source of pollution. Then we have NAP monitors 4 key air pollutants. Okay, NAMP monitors 4 key air pollutants. I will ask the question. Okay, this is based on this. We say this is the most populated city, etc. So sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter 10, and fine particulate matter. So as a part of NAMP, okay, as a part of NAMP, they monitor, okay, they monitor 4 key air pollutants. Okay, NAMP monitors 4 key air pollutants: sulfur dioxide, SO2, nitrogen dioxide, NO2, particulate matter, PM10, and fine particulate matter, PM2.5. Okay, fine particulate matter, PM2.5. Okay, so we have Next, we have, as we have already told, before we have National Ambient Air Quality Standard. As a part of this, there are 12 pollutants are being measured. As a part of Ambient Air Quality Standard, 12 has been are being measured. It's important you know just the name. Particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, ozone, carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon monoxide, ammonia, okay, carbon monoxide, ammonia, lead, nickel, benzopyrene, arsenic, benzene. Okay, that is it. Okay, so we have ammonia, lead, nickel, benzopyrene, arsenic, benzene. So these are the 12 different pollutants. Okay, 12 different pollutants coming under that one. Then we have a National Air Quality Index. Yeah, this is also what we can say regarding all this number. We can say to a common number. Okay, we can't compare with related to common number. So all these measured tools are being converted into a single number as a part of National Air Quality Index. Based on this, what we said, Delhi is the most polluted city. This city is this much polluted. All these pollution related things we say based on National Air Quality Index. Okay, so this is it. 0 to 50 is good, 51 to 100 is satisfactory. So Delhi is more than 400, certain cases I think, okay, severe, very poor, moderate, and so all this measured, different pollutants are being measured, and all this has been standardized into a simple number so that it will be easy for the common people to understand what's the level of pollution there. Other than that, if we say SO2 is 25 parts per million, carbon dioxide this much, normal people can't convert it into a proper value or proper understanding of what is the situation. Yeah, so that's what we have to say regarding air pollution. Is it clear? Any doubts? Make sure you have subscribed to Aifer Education YouTube channel. Also, you are a part of the community group. The link is available in the description in the chat box. And if you are interested being part of June exam, you can join now. You can have the numbers and other things. Is it clear? Any doubts? Tell me so that we can go to the next topic. Is it clear? Natural hazards and disasters, mitigation strategies. So we have natural hazards and disasters, mitigation strategies. So what is the difference between hazard and disasters? Tell me, what is the difference between hazard and disaster? So the basic difference between hazard and disasters are, hazard is a natural or human-made phenomenon that has potential to cause harm or injury. Okay, hazard is a natural or human-made phenomenon that has potential to cause harm or injury or damage to the people. They have the potential, earthquake, hurricane, flood, landslide. But when they hit on a particular place where damage is being created, we say it's a disaster. For example, there is a desert without any animals or any humans. There is an earthquake. It doesn't create any harmful impact to anybody. Consider it's a small earthquake. So then it's only a hazard. It's not a disaster. So hazards are those, actually hazards and disasters are almost same, but hazards are those which have the potential to cause damage but not created damage yet. But disasters are those, okay, which has created damage, sudden or gradual even. For example, we will be having, so we say generally we say earthquake, hurricane, flood, landslide, etc. as hazards. But when we call something Bhuj earthquake of Gujarat, or Iranian earthquake, or Hurricane Katrina, or Haiti earthquake, when we point out a specific thing, there are disasters. Okay, they are disasters because it happened, it created harmful impact. So once again, they may ask a question regarding the differences between hazard and disaster. Hazards are potential threat, while disasters are actual events. Hazards can be managed or mitigated, while disasters require response and recovery. Hazards are managed or mitigated, disaster response and recovery. Okay, so very important one. This is the most important aspect. A lot of questions are being asked from here. That's what we have to discuss is types of hazards. Okay, we have to study about types of hazards. So what are the types of hazards? So basically we have 4 types of hazard. Okay, basically we have 4 types of hazard. We have natural hazards, we have secondary hazards, we have the chronic hazards, we have hazards based on onset, and we have man-made hazards. So now we are studying about the classifications of hazards. So for the exam, they usually ask a lot of questions from these. Okay, they usually ask a lot of questions from these. What are the different types of hazards? And they will give you a particular hazard, and they will ask this is what type of hazard. Okay, this is what type of hazard. So we have types of hazards, natural hazards, secondary hazards, chronic hazards based on onset, and man-made hazards. Okay, so what is natural hazards? Natural hazards are also known as the primary hazards. Okay, natural hazards are also known as the primary hazard. They are the naturally occurring phenomena that have the potential to cause harm or damage to people. Okay, so we have natural hazards. Okay, natural hazards are the naturally occurring phenomena. Okay, naturally occurring phenomena that have the potential to cause harm or damage to the people, the environment and property. Okay, so we have natural hazards, naturally occurring phenomena that have the potential to cause harm or damage to people, environment and property. Okay, then examples are earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunami. Okay, so example for natural hazards are, we have earthquake, volcanic eruptions and tsunami. So natural hazards, natural hazards can be classified. So there are further, what you have to study is classification of natural hazards. So natural hazards are classified into 4 different types. Okay, natural hazards are classified into 4 different types. We have geological hazards, hydrological hazards, meteorological hazards and biological hazards. Okay, so we have natural hazards. Natural hazards are classified into 4. Okay, natural hazards are classified into 4. We have geological hazards, hydrological hazard, meteorological and biological hazard. So usually in exam question is asking regarding this base, which among the following are hydrological hazards, which among the following are biological hazard, or which among the following are geological hazards. Okay, geological hazard. So we have the first type of hazard is the geological hazards. Okay, so we have the first type of hazard is a geological hazard. So what is a geological hazard? Geological hazards are caused due to Earth's physical process and structure. So geology, it is a study of the interior of the earth. So geological hazards are, okay, so we have geological hazards are those hazards which are caused as a result of Earth's physical process and structures. Those are the hazards which are caused as a result of Earth's physical process and structures. So example for geological hazards is earthquake. It's something related to Earth's interior. We have the volcanic eruptions, we have the landslide, avalanches, subsidence, etc. So all these hazards are, okay, all these hazards are, we can say, all these hazards are related to Earth's physical process and structures. Okay, all these hazards are, okay, all these hazards are related to Earth's physical process and structures. So these hazards are known as, okay, these hazards are known as geological hazards. Okay, these hazards are known as geological hazards. Okay, next we have the hydrological hazard. Okay, next we have the Okay, next we have the hydrological hazard. Hydrological hazard is a hazard that involves, okay, hydrological hazard is a natural event that involves water and has a potential to cause harm to people. So in hydrological hazard, there will be involvement of water. So we have flood is an example of hydrological hazards. Then we have droughts, mudslides, tsunami. Remember, those hazards which has relation with significant relation with water is considered as hydrological hazard. Drought is a hydrological hazard. Actually, drought you don't have water, but still it's an hydrological hazard because drought occurs due to lack of water. So there should be a relationship between water. It doesn't necessarily require there should be a lot of water like flood. I hope it's clear. So we have the hydrological hazard include floods, droughts, mudslides, tsunamis, etc. Okay. Then we have meteorological hazards. Okay. Next we have meteorological hazards. Meteorological hazards are those hazards caused due to weather and atmospheric condition. Okay. So we have meteorological hazards. So meteorological hazards are those hazards. Okay. Meteorological hazards are those hazards which are caused due to weather and atmospheric condition. Okay, meteorological hazards are those hazards which are caused due to weather and atmospheric condition. They include, okay, cyclones, they include hurricanes, tornadoes, droughts, lightning, etc. Okay, lightning, it's a thunderstorm, heavy rain, etc. So we have meteorological hazard include cyclone, hurricanes, tornadoes, droughts, lightning, etc. So this is what we have regarding meteorological hazards. Okay, these are meteorological hazard. Then we have, okay, then we have biological hazards. Okay, then we have biological hazards. Okay, then we have biological hazards. In case of biological hazards, we have different biological hazards are living organisms or substances that can cause harm to humans, animals, or the environment. Okay, biological hazards. Okay, biological hazards are living organisms or substances that can cause harm to humans, animals, or the environment is known as biological hazards. So example for biological hazards are we have bacteria, okay, bacteria related diseases like anthrax, tuberculosis, plague, then viruses like HIV, smallpox, Ebola, then we have fungi like candidiasis, then we have toxins like snake venom, poisonous mushroom, etc. Okay, poisonous mushroom, etc. So we have the biological hazards. We have, for examples, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and toxin. So this is what we have regarding biological hazards. Okay, biological hazards. Okay, biological hazards. Next we have, okay, next we have secondary hazards. Okay, next we have secondary hazards. Secondary hazards occur as a result of other primary hazards. So secondary hazards are those hazards which occurred as an impact of primary. For example, we have an earthquake. Yeah, before going to this one, I just want one more clarification regarding, even though we have 4 different categories, geological, hydrological, meteorological, biological, some of them may be slight overlap. We can't say this is purely 100% this one. For example, we have tsunami. Yeah, tsunami is basically majorly considered as a hydrological hazard. But the reason behind tsunami is we know the earthquake in the ocean. So earthquake is a geological hazard. So we can say tsunami is, yeah, majorly, even though it's an hydrological hazard, it's a somewhat geological hazard also. So there may be overlapping of different hazards. There is no need of fixing that this is hydrological. If one is a particular category, it will not belong to any other. There is no need of concluding in such a way that, okay, I just forgot to say that. Then moving to the second set of hazards. Okay, then moving to the second set of hazards, we have the secondary hazards. Okay, the second set of hazard, we have the secondary hazard. Secondary hazards are those hazards. Okay, secondary hazards are those hazards which occur as a result of the primary hazards. Okay, secondary hazards are those hazards which occur as a result of, as a secondary impact of the primary hazard. For example, we have an earthquake. It's a primary hazard. It's a okay. As a result of this earthquake, there may be certain dam failures, there may be building collapse, there may be ruptured power and water lines. So all these are all this occurred as a result of the primary hazard earthquake. So secondary hazards are those hazards which occur as a result of a primary hazard. Building collapse, okay, is an example for secondary hazard. Then moving to the chronic hazards. Chronic hazards are, okay, so we have the next important one. We have the chronic hazard. So chronic hazard is a long-term danger or risk that can cause harm or illness over an extended period. Okay, so we have chronic hazard. Chronic hazard is a long-term danger. Here the hazard occurs as a long-term danger, not an immediately. For example, we can say air pollution. What's in Delhi, the environment situation, it's a chronic hazard. It's not going to create a damage today, but it will have damage in the long term. Okay, damage in the long term. So we have chronic hazard, air pollution, water pollution, chemicals, radiation. All these are an example of chronic hazards. Then we have hazards based on an onset. We have two categories: rapid onset hazards and we have slow onset hazards. So based on the onset, okay, based on the onset, if it happens suddenly, it's a rapid onset. If it takes a bit time, it's a slow onset. Okay, it's a slow onset hazard. So we have the example of rapid onset hazards. Okay, occurs suddenly, unexpectedly. It may have a long-term consequences. We can say earthquake. Okay, earthquake is a rapid onset. Volcanic eruption may be a rapid onset. Landslides may be rapid onset. Then accidents, okay, car accident. All these are rapid onsets. Okay, all these are rapid onset. Then slow onset we have developed gradually over a long time period, like chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, or a long-term exposure to chemicals or radiation. Okay, long-term exposure to chemical or radiation. Then we have chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, etc. So this is what we have regarding slow onset hazard. Okay, this is what we have regarding slow onset hazard. Then moving to the fifth one. Okay, then moving to the fifth one, we have the man-made hazards. Okay, we have the man-made hazards. So man-made hazards, okay, man-made hazards are hazards created by human activities. Okay, they are the hazards created by man, or they are the hazards created by human activities, which include pollution. Okay, which include industrial accident, which include unstable building or structures, which include purely designed or maintained roads and transportation system, which include war and conflict. So we have pollution, industrial accident, unstable building, purely designed, war and conflict, etc. So this all comes under, okay, this all comes under man-made hazards. Okay, this all comes under man-made hazards. Okay, so this is all about what we have to discuss regarding hazards. Is it clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Let me know in the chat box. Yeah, so let's move to the last topic. Okay, let's move to the last topic. Environmental protection and climate change mitigation global efforts. Okay, environmental protection and climate change mitigation global efforts. So I will be discussing only some of the important aspect, not everything. So first of all, there are a lot of global environmental conservation efforts. So what we have to study as a part of this is which are the different global environmental conservation efforts. or which are the international level of efforts from the side of different countries so as to protect environment. Okay, so as to protect environment. So all these are generally this international agreement, the international collaborations are known as conventions and protocols. Okay, conventions and protocols. So what are the basic difference between convention and protocol? Convention is a general agreement. Okay, we have convention is a general agreement. Okay, we have convention as a general agreement, while we have protocol. Okay, convention is a general agreement, while protocol is a legally binding agreement. Okay, so we have convention is a general agreement and protocol is a legally binding agreement. So all the international protocols were an out of some convention, and it's not necessary that all conventions may necessarily lead to protocols. There are only around 5 protocols in the world, significant one, Montreal, yeah, 4 major one. So firstly, they may ask me the following regarding convention protocol. I will just do, firstly, since we don't have much time, I will say what are the convention and all the important protocols. So we have, there is a convention known as Vienna Convention. The protocol as an outcome of Vienna Convention is Montreal Protocol. This is regarding ozone. Okay, this is regarding ozone. And even there is a question previously asked, this is considered to be the most successful international protocol as per the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Okay, as per the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Then we have Convention on Biological Diversity. There are 2 protocols, Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya. Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol. Then we have United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. We have the most famous protocol out of all, Kyoto Protocol. So mainly we have 4 important. Then we have a Nagoya Kuala Lumpur Supplementary Protocol. It comes as a part of Cartagena. So we have 4 major protocols in the world: Montreal Protocol, Cartagena Protocol, Montreal Protocol, which was an outcome of Vienna Convention. Then we have Cartagena Nagoya Protocol, which were an outcome of CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, and Kyoto Protocol, which was an outcome of what we can say UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. That is what we have regarding Kyoto Protocol. Yeah, then I'm not going into detail regarding this protocol. Okay, I'm not going into detail regarding this protocol. I will be just having a fast recap. I think we have discussed many of these protocols in detail in Aifer Education YouTube channel. Yeah, you can get linked from there. Then we have COP. COP is a meeting of countries who are a part of convention, and COP or Conference of Parties is a meeting of the countries who are a part of convention. MOP or meeting of parties is the meeting of those countries which are a part of protocols. Then we have a Rio Summit. I will just go speed. Yeah, Rio Summit is the most important international summit with regards to environmental conservation. Many of the actions still going on in the world with regards to environmental conservation on a global level originated or have some source of origin from Rio Summit. So it happened in 1992 June. It's also known as United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. It happened in Rio, known as Rio Summit. It is also known as Earth Summit. That question has been asked. Rio Summit is also known as Earth Summit. Okay, Rio Summit. Okay, Rio Summit is also known as Earth Summit. Okay, Rio Summit is also known as Earth Summit. Then we have Yeah, as a outcome of Rio summit, there were Rio declaration. It's an outcome of Rio summit. It's a common declaration by the countries for the protection of environment. Then we have Agenda 21. This is a document which states the agenda for the 21st century. How the environment protection has to be carried out across the world in the 21st century is Agenda 21. Then there were Rio Conventions. Rio Conventions. As a part of Rio Summit, we have Rio Convention. There are 3 Rio Conventions. First one is regarding biodiversity. Then there was a convention related with climate change. Then there was a convention related with desertification. Okay, so as a part of Rio Summit, we have a Rio Declaration. It's a common declaration by the countries. Then we have an Agenda 21, which is a document. Both this Rio Declaration, Agenda 21 were not legally binding. Then we have Rio Convention. As a part of Rio Summit, 3 different conventions were held. First one is convention related to biodiversity, which is also known as convention related to biodiversity, which is also known as Convention on Biological Diversity. Okay, so firstly we have a convention related to biodiversity, which is also known as Convention on Biodiversity. Then we have a convention related to what we can say climate change. Convention related to climate, which is known as United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so then we have a convention related to climate change, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Then we have a convention related with desertification, which is United Nations Convention to Combat Desert. They will ask expansion of this, very important. Okay, and specifically they have asked a lot of time the expansion of UNFCCC. CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, okay, CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, okay, UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and UNCCD, we have United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. Okay, so these are the different conventions coming under this. Next we have, as a part of Convention on Biological Diversity, okay, as a part of Convention on Biological Diversity, so we have 3 main goals. First goal is conservation of biological diversity. Second one, sustainable use of components of biological diversity. And third one, fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. So the second one, we have a sustainable use of components of biological diversity. So for this one, so as a part of Convention on Biological Diversity, there is a goal of sustainable use. So for this one, we have the Cartagena Protocol. Okay, for this one, okay, for this one, for which one? For the sustainable use of, okay, for the sustainable use of components of biological diversity, we have the Cartagena Protocol. Then we have fair and equitable sharing of benefit arising from the genetic resources. We have the Nagoya Protocol. Okay, we have the Nagoya Protocol. So we have sustainable use of components of biological diversity. We have the Cartagena Protocol. Fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. We have the Nagoya Protocol. Okay, we have the Nagoya Protocol. Yeah, then we have the Secretariat of Convention on Biological Diversity, Montreal, Canada, and these are some of the meetings. Then we have Cartagena Protocol. We are not going to details. Then we have Miami Group. Miami Group is a group of countries that opposes Cartagena Protocol. The reason is simple. Cartagena Protocol controls regarding the genetically modified or living modified organism products. But Miami Group is a group of countries which are the major exporters of genetically modified products. Then we have United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. I will just revise Kyoto Protocol. We have discussed a lot of time in our YouTube channel itself. You will get a lot of videos, but since it's very important, I will have a fast revision on that. Yeah, so we have this is very important. Okay, the places where it has happened. Then we have Kyoto Protocol. The purpose is reducing the global warming, climate change. So reducing the harmful impact of climate change, which is by reducing global warming, which is by reducing greenhouse gases more specifically. So there is a lot of factual aspect related to Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol was adopted in COP3 in 1997 in Kyoto. It came into force in the year 2005. The details of Kyoto Protocol was decided in a COP7 at Marrakesh in Morocco in 2001, which is also known as Marrakesh Accords. Okay, then we have there are two commitment period for Kyoto Protocol. Okay, for Kyoto Protocol, we have two commitment period. The first commitment period is 2008 to 12, in which the countries has to reduce their greenhouse emission 5% against the 1990 level during the first commitment period 2008 to 2012. During the second commitment period, that is a 2013 to 2020. Okay, during the second commitment period between 2013 to 2020, the countries has to reduce greenhouse gases by 18% that of 1990 levels. So there are two commitment periods, 2008 to 2012, in which the industrialized countries has to reduce their greenhouse emission by 5% than the level that was prevalent during 1990. And during the second commitment period, which is between 2013 to 2020, the countries has to reduce the release of greenhouse gases by 18% compared to the level of 1990. So this is what we have to study here. Then we have a lot of concepts like in Kyoto Protocol, we have the concept of Annex 1 countries, we have the concept of Annex 2 countries, we have the concept of non-Annex 1 countries, Annex A, Annex B, etc. So I will be just briefly discussing all this one. So we have the Annex 1 countries. Annex 1 countries are the developed countries of the world. Okay, Annex 1 countries are simply Annex 1 countries are. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay. Yeah. Annex 1 countries are the developed countries of the world. Okay, Annex 1 countries are the developed countries of the world, which include OECD countries. Okay, which include OECD countries plus EIT countries. Okay, Annex 1 countries are Annex 1 countries are the developed countries of the world. Okay, developed countries of the world, which include OECD plus EIT countries. Okay, which include OECD plus EIT countries. And Annex 2 countries are, Annex 2 countries are, OECD means super developed countries of the world, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. EIT is economies in transition, just newly developed countries. Yeah. Then we have Annex 2 countries are only the super developed countries, that is OECD countries is Annex 2 countries. Then we have non-Annex 1 countries. Non-Annex 1 countries are the developing countries. Okay, non-Annex 1 countries are the non-Annex 1 countries are the developing countries. Then we have Annex A and Annex B. Okay, then we have Annex A and Annex B. Annex A is the different greenhouse gases coming under Kyoto Protocol. Under Kyoto Protocol, there are 6 different greenhouse gases. Okay, under Kyoto Protocol, there are 6 different greenhouse gases. We have carbon dioxide, we have methane, we have nitrous oxide, we have hydrofluorocarbon, we have perfluorocarbon, we have sulfur hexafluoride. Okay, so we have greenhouse gases that comes under Kyoto Protocol. We have carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbon, perfluorocarbon, sulfur hexafluoride. This is very important. Okay, this is very important. You have to study in detail about this one. So we have the carbon dioxide, we have the methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbon, perfluorocarbon, and sulfur hexafluoride. This is a Annex A countries. Okay, this is Annex A countries. Then we have Annex B countries. Okay, Annex B countries, actually this is similar to Annex 1. So Annex 1 just mentioned the countries, and each countries have its own reduction commitment. This reduction commitment is detailedly explained in Annex B. Then we have Kyoto mechanism. I'm not going into detail about the Kyoto mechanism. So we have international emission trading, clean development mechanism, joint implementation. Okay, so these are the different mechanisms under Kyoto Protocol, so as to ensure the amount of greenhouse gases remain what we can say under control. Then there is a concept of assigned amount unit. Assigned amount, I have discussed this in the last video, I think. Yesterday in our YouTube channel, we have discussed about an environment question discussion. If you go through that, you will get a detail regarding what is assigned amount unit, what is clean development mechanism, what is joint implementation. Okay, we have discussed in detail. It's available in our channel. The same channel you are watching this video. Then we have Paris Agreement. So we have the commitment period 1 and 2. The second commitment period was 2013 to 2020. As of now, we are in 2025. Okay, we are. Which means as of now, we don't have a third commitment period of Kyoto Protocol, because by the end of second commitment period, a lot of countries moved out of the Kyoto Protocol, a lot of important countries. So the third commitment period was not the instead. The international effort for reducing the greenhouse gases post 2020 is through an agreement known as the Paris Agreement. Okay, Paris Agreement. Okay, Paris Agreement. Yeah, Paris Agreement was the agreement. The term, this is an important aspect regarding Paris Agreement. In case of Kyoto Protocol, we have two commitment periods. Okay, we have two commitment periods. We have commitment period 1, in which there is a reduction of 5% from the level of 1990, and we have commitment period 2, where there is a reduction of 18% with the level of 1990. Okay, with the level of 1990. Okay, so what we can say is that INDC is, we have intended nationally determined contribution. What is in Paris Agreement? Paris Agreement doesn't have a fixed reduction target for all countries together, or a set of countries together. Instead, there is personalized or individualized targets for each country, which is decided by that country itself. It is known as INDC. Okay, it is known as INDC, which is known as intended nationally determined contribution. Okay, INDC is known as intended nationally determined contribution. Okay, intended nationally determined contribution. The Indian commitment to INDC include, okay, India will reduce the greenhouse gas emission by 2030. Okay, by 2030 by a level of 33 to 35% than that of 2005. Okay, India will reduce the greenhouse gas emission at a level of 33 to 35% from the level of 2005 by the year 2030, and India will focus more on green cover as well as renewable energy sources. Then we have combat desertification. Then I will just go fast. Different conventions. Yeah, this all are factual. Vienna Convention for the protection of ozone layer. Then we have Ramsar Convention. Just learn, Ramsar Convention is a convention on wetlands. Okay, Ramsar Convention is a convention for the protection of wetlands. Okay, so regarding the Ramsar Convention, they normally ask the 3 pillars of Ramsar Convention are there. The 3 pillars of Ramsar Convention are wise use of wetlands, listing of wetlands of international importance. So we have wise use of wetlands, listing of wetlands of international importance, and then we have international cooperation. Okay, international cooperation. Then we have 6 international organization part. This is a very common question from Ramsar Convention. Okay, this is a very common question from Ramsar Convention. When it comes to Ramsar Convention, there are 6 international organization partners. Okay, for Ramsar Convention, we have 6 international organization partners, which include IUCN. Okay, which include IUCN, BirdLife International, Wetland International, World Wide Fund for Nature, International Water Management Institute, Wildfall and Wetland Trust. Okay, so we have 6 international organizational partners for Ramsar Convention. Okay, we have 6 international organization partners for Ramsar Convention. Very important. IUCN, BirdLife International, Wetland International, Worldwide Fund for Nature, International Water Management Institute, Wildfall and Wetland Trust. Okay, Wildfall and Wetland Trust. Then we have the CITES Convention. Okay, then we have the CITES Convention or Washington Convention. Okay, CITES Convention or Washington Convention. This is a convention on the international trade in endangered species of wild flora and fauna for the protection of endangered species of wild flora and fauna. Then we have the Bonn Convention. They will ask just match the following as well. They have asked last time. So we have the Bonn Convention. Bonn Convention is a convention on the conservation of migratory species of wild animals. Okay, so we have Bonn Convention. Bonn Convention is convention on the conservation of migratory species of wild animals. Okay, convention on the conservation of migratory species of wild animals. Then we have Stockholm Convention. Stockholm Convention is a convention on persistent organic pollutants. So Stockholm Convention is all about reducing the utilization of organic pollutants. Okay, reducing the utilization of organic pollutants. Yeah, then we have Basel Convention. The purpose behind Basel Convention. Okay, purpose behind Basel Convention is the control of transboundary movements of hazardous waste. Okay, the purpose behind Basel Convention. Okay, the purpose behind Basel Convention is the control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste. Okay, transboundary movement of hazardous waste is the purpose behind Basel Convention. Okay, purpose behind Basel Convention. Then we have Rotterdam Convention. Okay, then we have Rotterdam Convention. Okay, the purpose behind Rotterdam Convention is the purpose behind Rotterdam Convention is informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trade. So it's all about informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trade is what we have regarding Rotterdam Convention. Okay, what we have regarding Rotterdam Convention. Yeah, this is all about what we have to learn about environment. So I hope it's clear. Any doubts you can ask in the chat box. I will give an introduction to higher education also. We don't have much time, but I will give. So we have a lot of, due to the limitation of the time, I am unable to cover a lot of topics, but we have already covered a lot of those topics and many of those are available in our YouTube channel, as well as we provide a lot of materials, exams, classes, etc. as a part of through our community. Okay, paper 1 free guidance for paper 1 community. You can scan this code or you can use the link in the description or you can contact this message, and also producing thousands of results every term. We have started our admission for the June batch also. You can also join, you can contact. Okay, you can contact the number here. Yeah, so that's it. So I will give just an introduction to the higher education. Okay, we will look at introduction. Any doubts you can ask. Okay, we'll have the last topic. Okay. Higher education. So, what are the important topics in higher education? Just tell me. Which are the important topics? Okay, which are the important topics that comes under higher education? Yeah, so I will give just an idea, rough idea regarding what is higher education and which are the topic you have to study in higher education. Okay, so as I already discussed, whether it's logical reasoning or whether it's any doubts, whether it's logical reasoning or whether it's what we can say environment, or whether it's a higher education. Okay, whether it's a higher education, we have 5 questions from all of those. So here I will be just giving an idea regarding which are the topics you have to focus. Okay, which are the areas from the which normally they ask question. So when it comes to higher education, we have specifically in syllabus, we have 6 topics, from which 90% of the question comes from the 2 topics. Okay, which are those and which are the areas from the questions usually asked? I will give an idea. Okay, I will give an idea just now. Okay, so we have the first topic, institutions of higher learning and education in ancient India. This is a very important topics. Okay, you have to study a lot of things related to it's all about the educational institutions, educational scholars in ancient India. Okay, educational institutes and educational scholars in ancient India. So here you have to study about, okay, here you have to study about ancient education system. Okay, different systems you have to study, which includes you have to study about the Vedic education, you have to study about Ubhanayana, we have to study about Sammelans, Parichas, you have to study about the education related Buddhism, Jainism, Bhikkhus, Bhikshunis. Okay, you have to study about, okay, different aspect, different terms, different processes. Okay, then you have to study about the basic aspect regard to Yajurveda, Rigveda, Atharvaveda, okay, Samaveda. So basically a lot of terms, terminologies, concepts, okay, a lot of terms, terminologies, concept, etc. Okay, concept, etc. Related to what we can say Vedic education you have to study. Okay, related to Vedic education has to be studied. This is the first thing. Okay, this is the first thing you have to study as a part of what we can say as a part of ancient education. So first part. And the second part, okay, the second part is, I will say, regarding different ancient universities. Okay, you have to study about different ancient universities, which include the Takshashila University, okay, which include the Takshashila University, the Nalanda University, Mithila University, Vallabhi University, Jagdala University, Odhandapuri University, okay, Odhandapuri University, Padaliputra, Vikramshila, okay, a lot of universities, okay, Nagarjunakonda. Okay, you have to study about a lot of universities as a part of this one. Okay, as a part of the second part. After different system, different aspect related to this one, you have to study about different universities. Okay, different universities. After different universities, you have to study about different scholars, which include scholars and travelers. Okay, scholars and travelers. Okay, which include we can say Chanakya, Panini, Charaga, Nagarjunakonda. Okay, so we have a lot of Vishnu Sharma, Jivaga, Sushruta. Okay, you have to study the chronological order. You also have to study regarding which university. Okay, they are related to which university. So you have to study about the systems here. You have to study about the universities or institutes here. You have to study about the scholars. Okay, you have to study about the scholars. Okay, you have to study about the, okay, you have to study about the scholars, which include travelers also. You have to study about the travelers also, which include Fahian, Huyansang, etc. And this is the topic from which we have majority of the questions being asked. Okay, even though it's regarding post-independent India, you have to study a lot of things related with that. A lot of things. Considering the previous question, I will just mention which are the areas you have to focus when it comes to evolution of higher learning and research in post-independent India. You have to study about, I will say, education in British India, Macaulay, Maynards, Hunter Commission, okay, Raleigh Commission, a lot of education in British India you have to study. Then you have to study post-independent commissions and committees. British India also you have a lot of commissions, commission and committees. Then you have to study about different regulatory bodies. Okay, then you have to study about, then you have to study about different regulatory bodies. Okay, then you have to study about different regulatory bodies. Then you have to study about education British India, post independent. Then you have to study about different colleges and universities with chronological orders. A lot of questions are being asked. Different colleges and different colleges and universities you have to study a lot of chronological aspects. Then you have to study about different regulatory bodies like UGC and other things. Then you have to study about NEP, New Education Policy, first education policy of 1968, 1986, 2020. Okay, you have to study about that. These are the then you have to study about certain rankings like NIRF and other things. So these are the important topics. These are the important topics you have to study under evolution of higher learning and research in post-independent India. Regarding NEP and other things we have already discussed in our YouTube channel. You can visit those. Then the questions from all the remaining topics are comparatively very less. Oriental, conventional, non-conventional learning programs in India, very less questions are being asked. What is Oriental education? What is conventional? What is non-conventional? What are the differences between that? Then you have to study regarding the basic aspect regarding the professional, technical, and skill-based education. You have to study about professional, technical, and skill-based education. We have professional, technical, and skill-based education is which means professional, technical, and skill-based education means what we can say. You have to study about national skill qualification framework. Different ranges of national skill qualification framework, etc. You have to study. Then we have value education and environmental education. What is value education? What is environmental education? We studied as a part of environment. So what is the importance of morals, ethics, and other things? You have to study. Then we have policies, governance, and administration. Actually, this is a topic in which they haven't asked any question in the past few exams, but in the last exam, they have asked some articles related to constitution, which are related to education. Not general articles, even though they can ask as a part of the syllabus generally, but they have asked regarding education related articles. They have asked education related activities. They have asked education related articles. Education related articles. So these are the things you have to study as a part of higher education. These are the things you have to study as a part of higher education. So this is what we have to say as a part of this premium marathon. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the chat box. What do you feel? You have any doubts? You can ask in the chat box. And as I have already discussed, any doubts in what we have discussed so far? You can give your opinion in the chat box. And basically, we'll be having a lot of further videos and other things in our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Aifer Education YouTube channel. And exam is starting Wednesday. Prepare well, qualify, and inform after qualifying. For those who are watching this video later after these exams out, or for those who are seriously preparing for the June exam, okay, after this you can definitely join as a part of Aifer. Within a very small pan, we have created more than 3,000 net holders, more than 350 JRF holders, and more than 3,000 PhD admission qualifiers also. So if you are being interested in being part of Aifer, you can contact us. All the details regarding contacting us, joining our free community, installing our app so as to get a lot of what we can say exams, sample materials, everything is available. Okay, everything is available in this YouTube video description. And if you're interested in part of Aifer, joining Aifer, also you can contact us. Okay, so is it clear? Any doubts? Ask me any doubts if you have. Yeah, okay, thank you, happy to hear. Hope will definitely help you in your preparation. Okay, make sure give your everything you can for the exam and qualify, and if possible inform at least in the YouTube channel or with our community and other things. Any more confusion, anything, yeah, regarding all our details, links, videos, classes is available in this YouTube video description, and it will be available also in our video description, as well as it's available in the chat also. Okay, as of now it's available in the chat also. We have the WhatsApp community through which we provide the materials and other things. Link for the WhatsApp community is also available. Okay, it's also available there. Okay, then any more doubts? Okay, I hope there are no more doubts. So make sure you have subscribed to the Aifer Education YouTube channel. Okay, so we'll be discussing again later. So that's it. Thank you all.